Black technology, building a lightsaber starting from a graduation project. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction, so please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story in all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter, and if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 476 Unknown Creature. Compared with the previous ones, the opening speed of the wormhole this time is much faster than before. There is also a prompt sound from the galaxy in the ear. Long-distance wormhole travel is different from short-distance travel, which will make people feel a long time. The Guardian has been upgraded and will not bring you any discomfort. On the way across, let your mind relax, and treat it as a different long-distance journey. To be honest, if Galaxy is not artificial intelligence, it is definitely a good choice to consider becoming a tour guide compared with a short-distance wormhole. The brilliance this time is more brilliant. Before entering, Xu Teng looked back and said to Xinghu's body, "Everything that follows is left to you. If there's an emergency, remember to notify me in time." Just after saying this, the screen on the opposite side kept nodding. When Xu Teng disappeared, a series of records appeared on the table. The first year of the Interstellar, May 1st, 10 in the morning, Xu Teng, the chief researcher of Longo, entered the interstellar space under the opening of the super long-distance wormhole of the artificial intelligence galaxy. Blue Star has officially entered the interstellar era, and is also the first Blue Star person to enter the interstellar era. File, top secret. Everything is as Xing said. When you enter a super long wormhole, you will feel the time around you slow down because of the presence of guards. The road is very peaceful. Various data are constantly displayed on Xu Teng's virtual helmet. The space inside the wormhole is stable, there is no collapse, and there is no abnormality in the passage of time. Pen Fun Library. The spatial link point is stable, and the location of the wormhole source is stable. Estimated time to exit the wormhole, 3 seconds later. So fast, after 3 seconds, it will be away from the jump point of the first wormhole at Hoa. When Xu Teng came out of the wormhole, he felt a little curious about the surrounding environment. This was the first time he was in a real interstellar space. It was pitch black all around, and there was only a little light in the distance. Just at this moment, a meteor streaked across the sky. Drip. Detected strong energy information, not included in the database. Do you want to check it out? When Xing's prompt sound just sounded, the flow suddenly burst into a strong light, and shoot at a distance, and the light that appeared in the distance was instantly hit the next second, split directly. This is not a meteor, it is a chase. Xu Teng felt a little uncomfortable. It was my first time to the interstellar space, and it was the first time I saw a wormhole at such a distance, but I didn't expect to see such an exciting picture when I came out. And Xing's prompt sounded again. Would you like to go check it out? Check it out. I'm watching you, big bastard. At this moment, Xu Teng felt the difference between Xing and Xinghu. This guy is clearly an artificial intelligence that is particularly good at doing things. Is it possible to immediately open a new round of wormholes now? The main reason why Xu Teng asked so hurriedly was that he had already felt his gaze, and the person being chased seemed to have discovered the situation here. Can be turned on, then turn it on quickly. Hiss. The power of the advanced mecha began to roam on the Guardian's outer armor, and Xu Teng had raised his attention to the maximum because he felt a trace of malice. The folds of space appeared, and a long-distance wormhole finally appeared. Lights began to shine in the distance, another sign of gathering energy. The goal this time was very obvious, and it was following Xu Tengdom. Why is this guy so hostile? I just looked at it, the kind that didn't even say anything. Xu Teng got into the wormhole instantly and disappeared. Not long after entering, the gravel scattered around the wormhole was smashed. The attack did not cause any adverse effects on the wormhole. The target location has not been changed, and the stability of the wormhole has not been affected in any way. The attack has been collected into the database and is being analyzed at this time. Xu Teng, who is in the wormhole, heard that the stability of the wormhole was not affected by the attack. Subconsciously relieved. If it is in the interstellar, the positioning of the wormhole will be lost. That's the most troublesome thing. If you are unlucky, you will even wander in the vast interstellar space for 100 years. Can the energy of the attack be analyzed? Can a definite population be located? Galaxies, treasury of knowledge, is linked to the interstellar society, and many of them can accurately track and locate the interstellar group. Analyze. No specific data was obtained, and the specific interstellar group could not be located. Can't you? Originally thought it was an ordinary killing incident, but now it seems that I thought it was too easy. There may be major interest groups and people involved behind it after all. Just from that one encounter, that species is not easy to mess with such a long distance. Just standing by and looking at it was found this intuition is somewhat sharp. This wormhole transmission has entered the countdown. 3 seconds. Looking at the end of the extra wormhole in front of him, Xu Teng was a little excited. This is the first time that he has really come into contact with the interstellar civilization, and he will stay in the interstellar in the days to come as a scientific researcher of a planet. Going into the interstellar is their biggest dream in this life. The moment when the dream is about to come true is so exciting. After adjusting the breathing rate, Xu Teng stepped out. Crash. The moment he just came out, Xu Teng saw a scene that made him unforgettable in this life. Although the map that hero gave him shows the solar system space station, the space level is third class, but it was really only here that I found out that the so-called third class is also a behemoth. A huge jet black oval aircraft was suspended in front of Xu Teng. The aircraft was divided into 3 layers, and the bottom layer was a huge building group. The berths can be clearly recognized, and each berth is marked with numbers and obvious directions. Various spaceships are parked above and parked in one direction. There are also many spaceships entering the docking port under the guidance of robots, and there will be opening directions of wormholes from time to time around. A lot of spaceships are coming out of it. Welcome to the solar system space station. The sound of the broadcast was spreading everywhere, and after being translated by Xing, Xu Teng could also understand it. During this period, many people sent various private messages to Xu Teng. Hey, you're in the way, let it go. Why are you standing here in a daze? Is there no right to park? Look at this guy's dumbfounded appearance. Won't he be a wanted criminal? Probably. Would you like to notify the law enforcement team of the space station? At this moment, a piercing alarm sounded on Xu Teng's private channel. Chapter 477, Space Turbulence. Who are you? Why did you come to the solar system space station? Why can't you read your ID code? And why don't you see the model of the mecha on you? This series of 1-click 3 strokes made Xu Teng bewildered. Looking up, I saw a figure flying out of the parking lot not far away. The voice of the galaxy sounded just right in the ear. These people are all law enforcement members of the space station. You have to be careful. They may carry weapons that can cause fatal damage to you. Fatal injury. Hearing this prompt, Xu Teng's expression became serious. Just when Xu Teng was about to explain, someone next to him interrupted him. Shut up and stand quietly, ready to be examined. If you have no problem, we will never embarrass you. Before coming to the solar system space station, Xing Hu gave him some common sense. For example, the law enforcement force of the space station has the right to execute on the spot. Although for the interstellar society, the overall situation will be a bit complicated. Killing and plundering is a common occurrence. There are also many interstellar wandering civilizations similar to the God of Death, and there are not a few lawless people in that group of wandering civilizations. However, regular law enforcement members have always been law-abiding in the face of undetectable identities. People who are suspected to be unknown will take the usual gentle approach, but now everything in front of Xu Teng's eyes is very unkind. Xu Teng was communicating with Xing quietly. Under normal circumstances, would it become this kind of treatment? Xing, who has always responded quickly, was silent for a while at this moment. It's really different from what I know. Maybe it's because I've been away for too long. Otherwise, you will immediately take out the map that hero gave you. The status of the Golden Light clan is not comparable to that of ordinary people, and the map that hero gave you clearly has the unique symbols of the Golden Light clan. They will definitely see it. Before Xing finished speaking, Xu Teng took the initiative to take out a golden map from behind Galaxy. I'll take it out when you're done. I'm afraid everyone will be cold. I have the map that hero gave me. He belongs to the Golden Light clan. You must know him. In order to avoid misunderstandings, Xu Teng deliberately adjusted the sound of his channel to be particularly loud only. The expected reception did not happen. On the contrary, the opposite law enforcement team did not respond. However, Xu Teng could hear their voices communicating with each other. Lord Hero? Is that the Lord Hero we heard? It should be. The opposite side didn't specifically mention Golden Light clan. In the entire known universe, there is not only that one Golden Light clan. Just then, a discordant voice came in. There is no identification code, no registration, not even a racial specific mark. The mecha is still a sign that has never been seen before. It must be fake. Hero, how could it be possible to give him such a thing? It's broken. It's a little bit bad now, and the next sentence really proves it all. What are you waiting for? Go and take him down to me. But, doesn't Lord Hello have an adjutant here? I remember that the adjutant once said that he stayed here because he had a mission. The discordant voices came in again. Mission? He told you. Did he have a specific task to do? This, several members of the law enforcement team on the opposite side hesitated, and the adjutant did not say anything. So, hurry up and arrest him for me. How? He is the only adjutant in the solar system space station, and you don't listen to my words. To talk about the background behind, my background is not lower than that of the Golden Light clan. If you disobey this time and cause a major accident, the latter words were not detailed but it's full of threats. One by one, the hairs on the whole body began to stand upright, and the cold sweat flowed. I see. Fuck. Looking at the few people who looked over, Xu Teng had a strong sense of crisis, especially the discordant voice that came in. Xu Teng couldn't help but pay more attention. Even the adjutant of the space station would not do this. Could it be? Have a grudge against Hero? Probably. If it weren't for this, the opposite side would definitely not mention a word. Saying that the background behind him is comparable to the Golden Light clan only. What surprised Xu Teng was that Tai Luo actually left an adjutant on the space station. It can be guessed from the words of their conversation. Maybe you are part of the mission yourself. I want to see Hero's adjutant. He will definitely be able to prove my identity when he sees this map. The members of the law enforcement team who were surrounding in the distance paused because, judging from the items taken out from Xu Teng's hands, everything is very possible. Come on. Come on. What do you believe in what others say? The lieutenant behind him was furious. A series of energy streams erupted, dazzling red light behind its mecha. How can Li Mingru be seen if you want? Let me tell you, even if Halo is here, he will give in 3 points to me. When the left hand is lifted, the air in front of him forms a vortex. The turbulent flow in it instantly affected Xu Teng, who was suspended not far away at this time. The spaceships that were about to park in space were all suspended in mid-air to watch the good show of the scene. Others kept introducing. I heard that Ouyang Xingqian's special turbulence is one of his cards. Yes, I heard that the second-generation gene engine is also equipped. This is not a gene that can be modified by ordinary families. After the second-generation gene engine is equipped, the power of special turbulence has increased exponentially. The person on the other side will definitely suffer, but it's okay. Maybe it's really a wanted criminal on the wanted list. While everyone was waiting to see the joke, Xu Teng heard a voice broadcast warn. There is turbulent flow in the space ahead, the molecular structure is destroyed, and the space begins to show signs of collapse. Warn. You are also locked in, the turbulence begins to affect yourself. Warn. You are in the middle of the turbulence. If you don't resist, you will be sucked in. Analyze the energy on the opposite side and give the optimal solution. Xu Teng was also a little impatient. Although the identity is unknown, the things that Haluo gave in his hand obviously proves everything. Besides, there is the adjutant. Li Mingru is here. It seems that the other party has made up his mind that he is easy to bully. Activate the power of the mecha to cope with. The attack energy state of the opponent is being analyzed. The power of the primary mecha is enough. Chapter 478, Endless Race. Primary mecha power. When he heard this sentence, Xu Teng was stunned. My first reaction almost thought I had heard it wrong. The attack on the opposite side looks so compelling. Even the name is called space turbulence. The result is this. Xing saw Xu Teng's reaction and explained. You don't think that the power of the mecha you obtained is a Bait Street product? Forget it. The secret will wait for you to open it yourself later. I have lost some of the information myself, but I just tell you secretly that not many ethnic groups have the power of mecha. If it was in an unfamiliar location, Xu Teng would definitely not show his cards, especially in front of so many people. However, from the exchange just now, Xu Teng understood one thing, that is, the status of the Golden Light clan is much higher than he thought. Moreover, Hero's own influence is not low. Just being an adjutant will make the law enforcement team of the space station hesitate. Still, no one is here. Sometimes, once someone is covered, it is also necessary to reveal some of their own strength. Otherwise, anyone can jump up and ride on their head. Ha ha ha, you can just capture it. You still want to see Li Mingru with a person invited by Halo? I tell you, the underground prison in the space station is the most suitable for you, as long as you. Before Ouyang Xingqian finished speaking, he was stunned because he saw a strange situation. There was a faint light flowing on the mecha on the opposite side. This is the power of the mecha. A member of the law enforcement team immediately shouted out, as if seeing something incredible. As the faint rays of light flowed over the guardians, even those watching from a distance could see it clearly. Why does he have the power of mecha? That's right. I haven't seen the power of mecha for almost 5 centuries. Wait. I heard that the power of mechas can only be activated if you have justice and your own will is superior. Someone understood what he wanted to say, and went on with the words, this shows one point, he may really be the one invited by Hero. With a unique logo of the Golden Light Clan, coupled with the power of mechas, it can already explain Akit. So, Yang Xingchen is, the word stopped here, and there was no need to continue after all. The struggle between families is not a matter of 1 or 2 days, everyone understands it's just that many of them looked at Yang Xingchen with a weird look as the power of the primary mecha roamed within himself. Xu Teng felt that the strength of the turbulence in the space had weakened a lot. The molecular structure of space is being reshaped, the remodeling is successful, and the stable space is regenerated, the redefinition of space has been successful, and the influence of space turbulence has been successfully offset, so it cannot affect you, and those onlookers saw it. You see, it's really the power of mecha, and Yang Xingchen's spatial turbulence can no longer affect him. Then everything is interesting now. If the other party is really a member of the Golden Light Clan, the follow-up will not be easy. It's hard to say. After all, the Federation of Light is not a family of the Golden Light Clan. There are too many families on the main star, and the background behind Yang Xingchen cannot be underestimated. At this time, the members of the law enforcement team who originally wanted to move did not dare to act rashly. Many members of the team chatted with each other in a low voice. Would you like to inform Li Mingru, adjutant? This is not a good thing. Indeed, ordinary people don't have such a thing as the power of mecha. Hey, the adjutant's contact information is being connected. You wait here, I'll go now. Even the law enforcement team of the space station is divided into factions usually. Members of the Golden Light Clan are flying to the place where Li Mingru often goes. The spatial turbulence can no longer affect the other party. Looking at Xu Teng's motionless figure, Yang Xingchen's eyes seem to have a flame burning. The law enforcement members of each space station will be divided into several factions, and the main competitors here are him and Hero. Everyone's strength is similar, but because of the usual way of life many people prefer Hero, which has always been his heart disease in the Federation of Light. There will be an election on the main star every 50 years. As the core disciple of the Hente family, Yang Xingchen was sent here for training. Family. The assessment period is coming soon. At that time, he will decide whether he can become a further candidate within the family according to the support rate of the members of the Solar System space station, and only with the affirmation of the Endless Family can they represent the family to run for the new generation of power in the Federation of Light on the main star. When all this is turned back, the support rate of the Solar System space station is very important to Yang Xingchen. You must not lose face in front of this unknown person. This is what you forced me to do. I didn't want to do this originally, Yang Xingchen said in an indifferent tone while pulling out something like a stick from behind him. If you had been obedient, it would have been impossible to get to where you are today. Xu Teng, no, what the hell are you talking about? What I did wrong? All the faults are all blamed on Makakuka. The stick that was drawn out automatically combined to form a ring-like thing. When it was taken out, blue arcs flickered in it, and even just looking at it gave a sense of danger. The restraint circle looks like a weak current on the outside, but there is actually a huge amount of current inside the circle. The environment in the circle is another dimension by itself, so as long as it is bound, it is basically impossible to escape from the inside. This item is only used for prisoners on the interstellar wanted list, because the body of those who are arrested will be severely damaged. Listening to Xinghe's explanation, Xu Teng's face gradually became heavy. Obviously, the other party has become angry at this moment. Xu Teng has already moved to kill. The restraint circle is not for normal people, although I don't know what it will look like after being restrained, but he is very clear. The other party has regarded him as a member of the Golden Light Clan, perhaps because of something important. Xu Teng was used as a sacrificial substitute. If you kill him, what will be the consequences? The other party is a member of the Endless Clan, and the ability to use the space turbulence status is not very low. If you kill it, you will still do it in front of so many people. You will be on the interstellar wanted list as soon as possible, and it may also affect the subsequent development of Blue Star. At this moment, a person flew out of the space station. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 479, The Binding Circle. Yang Xingchen, stop me. Xu Teng is the guest I'm waiting for. As a result, The restraint circle was activated as soon as the sentence was uttered. Target, Xu Teng. The members of the law enforcement team standing around were stunned. This Yang Xingchen was obviously going to deal with Xu Teng, and he didn't even pretend. Li Mingru was furious. Rewind time 5 minutes ago. The line was busy just now because Hero was in contact with him. A series of things were explained, the most important of which was the problem of the Death God fleet. After meeting Xu Teng last time, Hailuo did not forget his commitment, submitted its own application to the Star Tribunal because of his identity as an interstellar law enforcement officer. And the God of Death has long been listed on the interstellar wanted list. All parties pay attention. The results of the investigation will come out soon. There is indeed a fleet of flagships heading somewhere in the solar system, and that place is Blue Star. Hearing was shocked when he heard the news. He never imagined that in the eyes of the God of Death, Xu Teng had such a large weight that is a standard fleet with a flagship. With this configuration, you can fight a low-level interstellar civilization. Then, Hero was very pleasantly surprised because the general election of the Federation of Light is about 1.5 years away. This is the top priority in the Federation, and every family on the main star is doing their best to increase their performance. Hero's status in the family is not particularly high, and he is even in an awkward position. It would be a big deal if all the flagship Death God fleet could be wiped out, enough to increase his prestige a lot among the Golden Light clan. Therefore, he immediately contacted Li Mingru, the adjutant, and he warned him again and again, be sure to entertain Xu Teng well, no matter from which aspect. This young man from the planet is a real genius. Li Mingru naturally followed Hero's instructions. Just after hanging up the holographic call, a member of the law enforcement team broke in and spoke in an anxious tone. Yang Xingchen is attacking an unknown person, and that person holds a unique invitation letter from the Golden Light clan. This sentence instantly made Li Mingru feel like he was falling into an ice cave, and his air was so cold. Pen Fun Library. Because Hero is in the Golden Light clan, his position was in an embarrassing situation. Over the years, he was finally qualified to enter the family's core disciples by virtue of his own strength. They even have the qualifications to run for the power of the Federation of Light. Li Mingru, as an adjutant, has a deep understanding of how difficult it is to walk all the way. Many core disciples of the family rely on family connections to stand on such a high platform, but Hero is different. All of them have worked hard. All his strength is his true strength. Today, there is a young man who can be seen by Hero at a glance, and even keeps praising his potential. Where this person can go in the future is very exciting. Result, after finally rushing over, he saw that Yang Xingchen had activated the restraint circle that can only be used on interstellar wanted criminals. How much harm can this thing cause? Every member of the law enforcement team is very clear. They had seen it with their own eyes. A member at the end of the wanted list, bound to death by the restraint ring. Yang Xingchen, you are crazy. Li Mingru shouted loudly. The former just turned his head calmly and said a word in a calm tone. Sorry, my hand slipped. Anyway, it was just an unknown person, and at the same time, the awkward position of Hero in the Golden Light clan was already clear to everyone. When the person on the other side is dead, with the energy of the Endless clan, plus his position in the family is a little higher than that of Hero, everything can be settled. It is not difficult. Who made you, an unknown person, dare to provoke me? People like you should. Just thinking of this, Yang Xingchen was stunned because he saw a space ripple in front of Li Mingru, which was a sign of starting a wormhole. Next second, everyone saw the wormhole open, and a person suddenly appeared in front of Xu Teng. Li Mingru, even Xu Teng, who was about to increase the power of his mecha, was stunned. It seems that the last time Hero, who met you, really thought of you as his own. At least with him, you Xu Teng have a status no less than that of an adjutant. Hearing Xing's explanation, Xu Teng was also surprised. The status of the Golden Light clan has raised a class in his heart. After all, even the adjutant can take the risk in person, which means that the initial promise to help he will not forget about resisting the Death Fleet after the release. The restraint circle gradually becomes larger and becomes a shape that can restrain a person. A streak of white light appeared in Li Mingru's hand, gradually changing into the appearance of double swords. The two collided with each other, and white and blue light flickered during this period. Li Mingru connected to Xu Teng's private channel. You are Xu Teng. Sorry for making you wait for a long time. Just now, Lord Halo was explaining something to me. That's why I couldn't come out in time. Sure enough, it was exactly as I thought. Just leave the restraint circle to me to deal with it. Most people really have nothing to do with it. However, I am a member of the law enforcement team of this space station, and I have the order of the restraint circle in my hand. As long as I can touch it for a short period of time, enter the order into it, nothing will happen. Although, Li Mingru said it was so easy, but every time he collided with a restraint circle, the energy on his mecha would fluctuate a little. What he said was true, but it was actually not that easy. Of course, this is for him. If it were you, everything would be different. You mean using the power of the mecha? Until now, Xu Teng still doesn't know exactly what the power of mecha is. Everything is obvious. This is not something ordinary people can have. Yes, it is the power of mecha. Just raise your beginner level up a bit. Don't get to the intermediate level. Then what should I do? What Xing said. Xu Teng also agreed one of the ways to live a long life is to not reveal your trump cards as soon as possible before you have your own power. The power of the primary mecha is so powerful, not to mention, Xu Teng has reached the power of advanced mecha. Just follow me. I will display the target's strike on your virtual screen. Red dots appeared on Xu Teng's virtual screen. This feeling, very familiar. After another collision, Li Mingru shouted, Xu Teng, stay away, just leave it to me here. You can't suppress the restraint circle, if it's too close. At this moment, he seemed to see something incredible. A shimmer of light flowed from Xu Teng's mecha. This is the power of mecha. Chapter 480 New Interstellar History. As an adjutant, Li Mingru knew better what the power of the mecha symbolized. It is said that in the first few years of the known universe, the population of a kingdom had basically no rivals in the known universe, neither in terms of technology nor in terms of numbers. They have an advantage, and the reason why it can play the role of ruling is that it has the power of mecha. Men, women and children of all ages can successfully stimulate the power of mechas in their bodies through scientific methods when everyone's technology is similar. The crowd that activates the power of the mecha can absolutely explode anyone at that time. It is precisely because the strength of some people exceeds everyone's imagination that the known universe is truly unified. But I don't know when this group of people with the power of mecha slowly disappeared. No one could be found until the end. Since then, the known universe has been in a state of disintegration. It has gradually become what it is today. The three main star civilizations rule the entire known universe, cooperate with each other, and oppose each other. But these secret histories about the power of mechas can only be known by the real big family in the main star civilization and the juniors who are in the core competition. This is what Tai Luo learned only after he was successfully selected as a junior in the core competition through his own efforts, and Li Mingru has made a lot of credit with Hero in the past few decades, and he only knew about it after becoming his confidant. So, I saw the power of this mecha appear again. Li Mingru was shocked. Are you really not from an interstellar civilization? Before, Master Halo told him about Xu Teng and briefly introduced it from a civilization of a certain planet level. It has fought against the god of death many times. But in the end, all ended in the defeat of the god of death. At the beginning, he still didn't believe it, but the god of death was on the interstellar wanted list. How could he fail in front of a planet-level civilization? Now he understands that's it. Even if the people of the Golden Light clan came, they couldn't help but take a few more glances. Such a derivation. Lord Halo's status is about to change. He definitely didn't know what kind of thing Xu Teng had. Xu Teng did not answer Li Mingru's question. Set all the mental energy in the center. Pays attention to the restraint circle in front of him. The sign given by Xing is very conspicuous and very clear. The specific direction that can be attacked from, or even a certain angle, can be marked. Moreover, the position of the mark is accurate to a specific drop point. If the level of the power of the mecha is increased, it will be upgraded to the power of the intermediate mecha. With such a clear auxiliary operation, there is absolutely no problem. It's a bit embarrassing to be forced to only be able to use the power of the primary mecha to go up a little bit. The next attack is from the left direction, and when it intersects with you, there will be a dislocation of nearly 1 second. This is the best time for you to attack the marked point. As soon as the message was notified, the restraint circle with blue arcs attacked from the side. When it was activated, the target was Xu Teng, and it was only because Li Mingru stopped in front of it and used orders to interfere with it, which caused the speed to drop. Now that the target is confirmed, there is no order to interfere. The shackles are completely activated. A blue light instantly appeared in front of Xu Teng, and the shape began to expand again, transforming into a big mouth that could swallow people. Aimed at Xu Teng and bit down his, the faint light raised apart. And Xu Teng raised the upper limit of the primary mecha's power a huge amount of data poured in. Instantly the faint rays of light wandering around even collided because of the blue electric arc attracting each other. The surrounding space molecules began to collapse, and the entire space appeared unstable. So it is so. No wonder it is said that the restraint circle is an independent space of its own. He raised his head, just in time to meet the big mouth that was full of pressure on the senses. Warn. The surrounding space forms a suppression, and the action slows down. Warn. The algorithm of the wormhole is suppressed, and the wormhole cannot be opened normally. It's no wonder that even the most wanted thieves fall into the trap. Anyone who faces the bondage circle for the first time will suffer a big loss if they are not fully prepared. This restraint circle must be made by the Endless Clan. Only they can have this kind of technology in space, and the general star civilization will not have this kind of accomplishment. The faint light instantly connected to the calculation data of galaxy. It is really difficult to calculate one. If you add another transmission, what about the power of the odd level mecha? Just when the restraint ring was about to bite, Xu Teng's body was finally able to move. The current space algorithm has been redefined, and the suppressed part has been resolved. The wormhole algorithm has been reactivated, and part of the body is being calculated. Li Mingru, who is not far away, was shocked when he saw this. Even a person with the power of mecha would not feel good to be hit by the restraint circle like this, but just when he was about to rush forward and use his body to hard connect the restraint ring, he saw an astonishing scene. The restraint circle didn't touch Xu Teng. That part of the body that should have been suppressed was suddenly able to move. A special ripple appeared in an instant, making the restraint circle empty. The space where the restraint circle is bound to be suppressed can actually perform wormhole operations. Did I read it wrong? At this moment, this thought appeared in Li Mingru's mind, and it's not over. At the moment when the restraint circle and Xu Teng's body interlaced, a series of weapons appeared on the mecha. The faint blue light instantly appeared, hitting all the positions of the restraint circle. If this is calculated, compared with the thought just now, this moment is the most amazing. If everything is calculated, it means at the very beginning, Xu Teng is confident enough to suppress the bondage circle, so the outcome was doomed from the start. Moreover, this seems to be the first head-on defeat for the Federation of Light in the binding circle in centuries. Pen Fund Library Order, hurry. There is not much time to suppress. At this time, Li Mingru reacted with a gesture of your hand. The virtual screen appears. Press it up. A silvery white light flashed. In the next second, a series of characters walked out of the virtual screen, instantly reaching the top of the restraint circle, and wrapping it. The blue arc weakened instantly, and then all went out. The restraint circle, which would have killed the quartet, slowly stopped and then suspended in the universe. Obviously experienced a dangerous crisis, but the atmosphere has become extremely quiet at this moment. No one imagined that. The power of mechas that can only be activated by people who are said to have justice in their hearts and extraordinary willpower can be seen here. Moreover, this is the first time that the restraint circle has been frustrated in the Federation of Light, created a new interstellar history. Chapter 481. Does it really come from Blue Star? Did not catch Xu Teng. This is something Yang Xingchen can't believe. Just as Xu Teng had expected, the restraint circle was indeed produced by the Infinity Clan. Only their family has such technology. Looking at the entire Bright Federation, no family can suppress the generation of space with attempts it because it is not the latest model. But, even if it's not the latest model, that's not why it can't lock Xu Teng. Just as he pondered, the surrounding space rippled. A heavy punch with a faint light hit Yang Xingchen's left face. With this force, even the opponent wearing a heavy mecha could feel the pain. In fact it does. Yang Xingchen slanted to the right instantly and bumped into a law enforcement team member not far away. What happened at the scene shocked everyone. This solar system space station is managed by two groups together. One is the Golden Light Clan, and the other is the Endless Clan. Now the representative of the Jinguang Clan is Li Mingru, and the representative of the Endless Clan is Yang Xingchen. From the perspective of his position in the family, Li Mingru is definitely not comparable to Yang Xingchen. After all, the former is only hero's adjutant, the latter is a genuine descendant of the family's core competition. This is also the reason why Yang Xingchen dares to strike first, just as he had guessed. As long as Xu Teng was suppressed first, even if it was hero who came later, he was justified. It's not that unidentified people smuggled through with counterfeit documents at that time. He directly said, for the safety of the space station as a precondition. You would not think that there is a problem with this space station. Straight is the perfect reason, but things developed beyond his imagination. And Xu Teng was not taken down in the end. Even Li Mingru recognized Xu Teng, and that was just an accident. The biggest surprise is in front of you. An unknown person is beating the leader of the space station. Everyone knows that Yang Xingchen is just a person who came to gild. If he can successfully gild, he will have an enviable position in the Endless Clan, but such a person with a bright future is being hit by Xu Teng from the left to the back, from the top to the bottom, in front of so many people, even in front of the law enforcement team of the space station. Another faint flash of light flashed, and Xu Teng, who inspired the power of the mecha, was like a god of war. In astonishing force erupted. He beat Yang Xingchen from one side to the other, rolling around like a sandbag. Many interstellar spaceships were still in midair, and even the law enforcement members of the faction who were close to Yang Xingchen stood by and did not speak even though Xu Teng is an unidentified person. You first used something like a restraint circle. Either way, it doesn't make sense. If it was someone else, it would be fine. After all, the Endless Race is a big family on the main star of the Federation of Light. Coincidentally, will the person with the power of Mecha be a small force? Besides, this is the person that heroes values. Everyone knows that among the core juniors of this group of big families, only Halo has climbed to the corresponding position by his own strength. His lieutenant was even willing to stand in front of Xu Teng himself to resist the restraint circle. Is this kind of person really able to provoke anyone? Because there are too many mysteries in Xu Teng. What's more, Hero's favoritism towards him was too obvious, and the incident happened suddenly. Although the crowd was extremely shocked, none of them said that they wanted to reconcile. First, another uppercut. Yang Xingchen is going crazy. After all, he was the core competitor of the big family on the main star, so he was hammered in front of everyone in just 1 hour. His reputation will spread throughout the Federation of Light, and the negative impact will continue to expand many times. Maybe it will also affect his family status in the Endless Clan. Who can bear this? Xu Teng, I tell you, are you ready to bear the wrath of the Endless Race? I swear, I will kill you. You wait. Hilo will definitely not be able to keep you. Although Xu Teng did not use the weapons in the Guardian, he just used melee skills to flatten people. But with the addition of the power of the mecha, it is not something that ordinary people can bear. Through the heavy mecha, every punch felt like hitting the soul. This is also the reason why Yang Xingchen feels that he is going crazy. He resisted. They even used the racial talent of the Endless Race, space turbulence, but it had no effect. Every time space is on the verge of collapse, it will be consolidated the next second. A faint light shines in the space. That is the power of the mecha consolidating the space. Obviously it is a bonus for controlling mecha, but it can play a role in the stability of the space. As an endless family, he has never heard of such a thing. It is simply appalling at this point. Xu Teng's anger was almost gone if it weren't for Xing's prompt, in front of so many people. If the representative sent by the Endless Race is killed, you will be on the Interstellar Most Wanted list. Xu Teng's really can stab in time and space, and this kind of god-killing weapon can be used on Yang Xingchen's body. He can't be on the Interstellar Most Wanted list. The main reason is that the Death God's fleet is on its way, and Halo of the Golden Light Clan is his teammate. Need to rely on him to solve the crisis of the Death Fleet. Of course, Ming Ming couldn't deal ruthlessly with Yang Xingchen. Behind the scenes, it's hard to say what it will look like. What's more, the opposite party didn't plan to make himself feel better from the beginning, and he even used things like bondage circles. To be kind to the enemy is to be cruel to oneself. The mecha on Yang Xingchen's body was tattered, and a series of rays of light from behind supported him to fly. Xu Teng, you wait, I remember you. After uttering a harsh sentence, the Formor left the place before, and he didn't want to stay in this place for a second. Some of the law enforcement team members belonged to the Endless Race faction, and all of them left here with their superiors, and Li Mingru, who witnessed the whole process, was a little surprised and speechless. How tyrannical the power of mecha is. He has heard some rumors, but now, Xu Teng's tyranny has completely convinced him. Yang Xingchen has unlocked the second-generation gene engine, and the mecha on his body is the style of the federal company that was launched last year, which claims to be able to resist the impact of small meteorites. Result, almost got smashed. Does Xu Teng really come from Blue Star? I heard that there is a planet that has just risen to the interstellar civilization. How powerful can it be? Chapter 482 Interstellar Internet Explosion. Turning around, all the interstellar spaceships around were staying nearby. Because I was too addicted to eating melons, I forgot to enter the space station for a while. Parking the spaceship is something that can happen every day. Watching Yang Xingchen of the Endless Race being crushed, it is not every day that you can see it. What's more, the power of the mecha is about to become a legend. However, it suddenly appeared in front of everyone, still in the state where the Federation of Light is about to enter the general election pen fund library in the future time period. There will be a lot more things involved. Hey, what are you doing? Just watching? Don't you see so many starships parked nearby? Hurry up and introduce them to the space station. Turning around, Li Mingru sent a public channel to all the starships. Everyone laughed at what happened today, and the parking fee is 30% off. As one of the people in charge of the space station, in the event of an emergency, he can temporarily change some management. In this way, the negative impact on the space station is eliminated. Ha. Thank you, Lieutenant Li. I wish the Golden Light Clan to successfully accomplish their goals in the future elections. One thing to say, I still prefer the Golden Light Clan. Let's not say anything else. You must have tickets for the Golden Light Clan anyway. The surrounding interstellar ship owners are also very sensible. After all, the forces behind Adjutant Lee represent the Golden Light Clan, those who can develop their own power on the main star of the Bright Federation. Our never to be underestimated everyone will give this face. Your Excellency Xu Teng, please come this way. A golden passage was instantly opened and extended in front of the two of them. The solar system space station is like all space stations, and each family has a special VIP channel, and the golden one is the VIP channel of their Golden Light Clan. After the misunderstanding was resolved, Xu Teng was also happy to befriend them. After all, he also needs to use their power after leaving Blue Star and entering Interstellar. Xu Teng had already fully felt the benefits of being backed by a big family in a short period of time, just like when he crushed Yang Xingchen just now. If there was no Adjutant Lee by his side to support him, the space station law enforcement officer on the side would have rushed forward. Okay, I'll trouble Adjutant Lee. Hey, what are you talking about? You are the guest that Mr. Haru specifically named and said that he should take special care of him. Instantly wrapped in golden light, two people, they left here in a small interstellar spaceship somewhere, and whose shaped creature was constantly tapping the virtual keyboard beside him. This is the Vero race, and the body is used to better record-breaking news from all directions. There are also quite a few official news organizations in the Federation of Light, including unofficial news organizations. That's still number one for the victory race. What is displayed on the screen is video being uploaded. If it was before, he would cut the beginning and end of the video, and choose the most eye-catching part to upload to the interstellar network. What is discipline? None of these matters. As long as the heat rises, everything has to stand aside. It's all interstellar news. How can it be possible to absorb the attention of the public without a little bit of what everyone wants to watch? But this time is different, whether it is the Golden Light Clan, Xu Teng with the power of Mecha, or the last Infinity Clan, none of which he can contend with. But, for this video, none of that matters. The matter itself is already hot enough, and it would be good to say everything completely. As a result, several eye-catching titles appeared when uploading. Solar System Space Station, using restraint circles on unknown people. The final result is that the restraint circles are invalid. The legendary power of Mecha has returned to the rivers and lakes. This time it is actually related to the Golden Light Clan. Yang Xingchen of the Endless Clan shot with a restraint ring, but was beaten by him with the power of Mecha. Different from the previous news uploads, this time, just after the upload was completed, it immediately appeared on the homepage of the small category whether it is the restraint circle or the power of the Mecha. It has long been famous in the Federation of Light. Take the power of the Mecha. Even the legendary level, absolutely no one will come to rub this heat because the logo is too obvious. It can be seen at a glance whether it is fake or not. Although there is no lower limit for everyone, the veto people have one characteristic, that is, fake news will never be reported. This is one of the reasons why they can be the most influential institutions of non-official organizations, and this time, the Interstellar website uploaded by Medora is the news of the non-official organization of the Veto Clan, and the popularity and traffic here are not worse than some official organizations. Yo, what kind of restraint circle is invalid? It's really ridiculous. That is to say, the power of the Mecha. It came out. If I didn't know that it was the news founded by the Veto Clan, I would have planned to spray it directly. Legendary level things can be taken out and rubbed for a while. I didn't expect that the Veto Clan, who specializes in news, has fallen to this level. The uploader is still Medora. I heard that his industry positioning is, as long as he enters the industry, he will never do fake news. It's ridiculous to see what he uploads. No way. Does anyone still treat our audience as blind people these days? Some people started spraying directly. Even if you're a video doing news, it's hard to avoid this because the news you upload is just too outrageous, but there are still many people who watch it patiently. After all, it has just been uploaded, and it has become a popular category. This shows that the official personnel must have watched the video content. It has not been deleted if it is popular, and the doorway is definitely not that simple. Then, everyone who looked at it seriously was amazed. My god. I thought the uploader of the video exaggerated the content, but looking at it now, it's exaggerated, and even the title is a bit subtle. Is that the space talent of the Endless Clan? That's it. It's invalid. It really is that the restraint circle is invalid. I remember that this seems to be the first time since the establishment of the Federation of Light. Is this the power of Mecha? That faint light is so strong. Damn it, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I really wouldn't believe it. The core competitor of the Endless Race was beaten so hard that it was beaten from one side to the other. The key is that others can have this kind of power just by relying on pure flesh. It's too amazing. Yang Xingchen seems to be wearing a Mecha that was produced by the federal company last year. It's going to be smashed to pieces. Who is this person? Is he so brave? If he doesn't participate in the election, many families will definitely start to win over him. One thing to say, it's not just to win over. Maybe there will be a family who wants to get rid of him, then. Xu Teng. The name just exploded on interstellar news. Many people began to inquire about the origin of this person. After all, a year and a half later, it will be the day of the general election for the Federation of Light. This is an election that can affect the situation. Chapter 483. Give me some battleship blueprints. In fact, as everyone guessed on the internet, there are indeed many families who want to win over Xu Teng. The Golden Light clan is one. The only difference is that Hai Luo planned to pull Xu Teng when he first met him. A person who can make even the god of death shriveled is not an incompetent person. After walking on the channel dedicated to the Jinguan clan, Li Mingru and Xu Teng came to a spacious room. This is the top floor of the space station, with transparent glass everywhere, from which you can overlook the entire space station. The docking base is constantly handling various types of starships, and all kinds of races are shuttled in the space station. A cup of tea overflowing with flowers was handed to Xu Teng. Along with Li Mingru's words of respect, "Your Excellency Xu Teng, I heard from Master Halo that you are from Blue Star. According to the information I found, you guys like to drink this kind of tea. Presumably, this one should make you feel comfortable." After taking it, I tasted it and it was similar to what Li Mingru said, and it was indeed suitable for my taste. "Your Excellency Xu Teng, I'll first apologize to you for what happened today." At that time, Lord Halo was on the phone with me, explaining the matter. "It was the last time I promised you to intercept the Death Fleet. If I had come earlier, this would not have happened. It's okay, it's not your fault. After all, I didn't contact Halo before I came here. It's normal for you to not know the exact time of my life. In fact, the main conflict in the whole thing is Ouyang Xingchen, or the conflict between the Endless Clan and the Golden Light Clan. On the way just now, Xing gave him some information: the general election and the recommendation of the family's core candidates. In this period, making achievements is the most important thing. Both Halo and Ouyang Xingchen are looking forward to defeating each other on the solar system space station. Get the recommendation belonging to the family, so that you are eligible for the subsequent election, and finally have the opportunity to represent the family to participate in the general election of the Federation of Light only. Xu Teng is not left to his own devices. Either the hatred with Ouyang Xingchen has been settled, and the follow-up targeting will not stop. The only thing that worries Xu Teng is this: the targeting of the endless race. Your Excellency Xu Teng, you can rest assured that with the status of Lord Halo in the Jinguan clan, what Ouyang Xingchen did today will definitely not affect you. Even if they do investigate you later from Blue Star, they didn't dare to move casually. During the general election, any personal interests cannot involve the family level. It is even more forbidden to use the power of the family to carry out retaliatory strikes. The Federation of Light is one. If it were all like this, the Federation would have been dissolved long ago. In this way, Xu Teng has at least a year and a half of safety, whether it is an individual or Blue Star. However, in such a short period of time, Xu Teng has realized something: you should establish your own power in the interstellar space, otherwise, it will not go far. After all, next, Li Mingru's sentence caught Xu Teng's attention. Although the major families are not allowed to do something out of the ordinary during the election, but if it is said, there is a little accident in it. Seeing Xu Teng looking up at him, Li Mingru added the following words: "For example, Death God's fleet attacks the defensive line of the interstellar court, and there will definitely be some casualties. If someone has an accident here, even the Infinity Race can't do anything about it. Even if it's not here, will there be some casualties in the small interstellar war when those remnants of shrimps attack Blue Star?" At this point, Li Mingru didn't say it clearly, but this suggestion made Xu Teng's eyes light up. Ouyang Xingchen gave him a very bad first impression, and he could be described as a lunatic. They are not looking for things, and the other party will arrange similar things. Dare to use something like a restraint ring in front of everyone. Will there be assassination in the back? Everyone can understand what you have to do. Why can't I arrange for you? Adjutant Li, this suggestion is really good. Even in a small interstellar war, there will definitely be casualties. If something unexpected happens, everyone can understand it. The two looked at each other and smiled, and the words have already been said here. This is the case with smart people, and the follow-up cooperation arrangements can be determined in a few words. In order to reassure Xu Teng, Li Mingru also added a sentence: "Your Excellency Xu Teng, don't worry." Originally, the other party used the restraint ring, which was not in compliance with the regulations. I contacted Master Halo afterwards, and he will definitely give you a satisfactory answer." Seeing that the current matter was almost over, Xu Teng began to take the initiative to talk to the other side. "Didn't you talk about the situation of the Death God fleet before? Let's talk about this first. In my guess, Death God will never let me go so easily. It's more than that, I won't let you go easily." A strange look appeared on Li Mingru's face. Could it be that he didn't send a fleet here? Xu Teng couldn't help asking. "No. Death did send a fleet over. What I'm curious about is the number, quantity." "You mean too much?" Hearing this sentence, Xu Teng had a bad premonition. Yes, there are indeed too many. As a wanted interstellar wandering civilization, the Death God itself does not have the strength to produce a fleet. So any interstellar spaceship is precious to him, especially that flagship-level fleet. Li Mingru paused for a while, as if to ease his emotions, and this time, according to the investigation of Lord Halo, the God of Death dispatched a flagship-level fleet to besiege Blue Star. Flagship, with a pump. Xu Teng stood up as the chief scientist of Blue Star. He is very aware of Blue Star's combat power. The strongest starfighter is the Red Dragon #1 level, even if it is the bonus of the power of the mecha, but it definitely can't beat the Death God fleet with a flagship level only when the gap between the hard power of science and technology is not large. The power of mecha can exert its strongest strength if the gap in hard power is too large. Even your mecha power will completely crush you to death. Your Excellency Xu Teng, don't worry too much. Lord Halo has already applied for assistance to the Interstellar Court. Because the God of Death is the most wanted person, flagship-level warships will definitely not be able to pass, and the rest will help you. Really? Xu Teng looked at Li Mingru with a questioning look. Real? The suspected Li Mingru raised his chest and affirmed righteously. Is that what you said? How can we? Lord Halo specially explained it to me. If I have any requirements, can I ask? Of course, we are allies. Li Mingru's words were not wrong. Hailuo really regarded him as a partner. In that case, Your Excellency Xu Teng, whatever you say, it shouldn't be too much for you to give me some drawings of warships. Li Mingru, what's going on? Why do I feel like I've fallen into a pit? Chapter 484 Preliminary Cooperation. The families on the main star have existed in the Federation of Light for a long time. Each family has its own industry, such as the Endless. They produce the shackles in the Federation because the space attribute is the talent of their race. In this area, they deserve the first place, and like the Golden Light Clan, there is also an industry belonging to their family. One of them is a battleship in the Federation. The most powerful flagships are produced by the Golden Light Clan Absolute Giant. No one can shake its position. That's why Xu Teng made the request. In fact, if you just want a battleship, it's not that difficult, although Halo's position in the Jinguan clan is rather awkward. He is still in the core competition position. After the status rises, the power will increase, and it is not difficult to trade a few battleships. The point is, what Xu Teng needs is the blueprint of the battleship. This is somewhat embarrassing. Even if the warships of the Golden Light Clan are eliminated, it is still an astronomical transaction figure to be traded on the black market. Xu Teng could see it, and Li Mingru was uneasy. I remember a year and a half later, it will be the federal election. Seeing the other person looking at him, Xu Teng continued. From the point of view of the rules, the core candidates of the family on the main star will have the opportunity to represent the family in the final election. However, before obtaining the qualifications for the family representative, there is a strength assessment. The assessment is not only about its own strength, but also about the forces the candidates belong to. Hearing this, Li Mingru understood a little. Your Excellency Xu Teng means that when the time comes, he will stand on the side of Lord Halo and become an affiliated force representing the family's campaign. Well, that's what I mean. However, there is something I want to clarify first. This is only true for the outside world, but in fact, Hero and I are in a cooperative relationship and will not limit each other's freedom. I understand that, Li Mingru replied immediately. People with the power of Metzja are not common now. There is only Xu Teng in the entire Bright Federation, even if he came out of Blue Star, but these are no longer important. Legendary characters stand on Halo's side, and they will increase more prestige in the Golden Light Clan for Hero. This sequel ring far more than the blueprint value of the battleship. Moreover, Xu Teng's combat power is far higher than he thought. Just relying on the power of the flesh can almost smash the mecha produced by the federal company in the future. Xu Teng wants to form his own power. As long as he stood up and raised his arms, many loners who worshipped force and even small forces couldn't help but devote themselves to Xu Teng's command in this way. The value of the battleship's drawings is not much. After thinking for a while, Li Mingru said solemnly, it's just Your Excellency Xu Teng, you must also understand. The warships of our Golden Light clan have always been the strongest in the Federation, but Lord Halo's status in the clan is not very high. This means, he doesn't have many battleship blueprints. I remember that in the hands of Lord Hero, there is only one model. And it's still eliminated. Speaking of which, Li Mingru was even a little embarrassed. He glanced at Xu Teng, for fear that the other party would reject him. How does it compare to the Death Fleet? Li Mingru was stunned for a moment, and then reacted. If it's a flagship, it's naturally incomparable. But if it's an ordinary battleship, the performance of the battleship in Lord Halo's hands will definitely be higher. Well, that's enough. Xu Teng's idea is very simple. First, to get through the difficulties in front of him, say it later. Do you want to contact Halo first? He probably doesn't know about this kind of thing yet. Before meeting Your Excellency Xu Teng, Lord Halo has already explained it. No matter what your request is, as long as he can do it, he is willing to help. I told him all about the situation here just now. He should be on duty now and will contact you after a while. This is what surprised Xu Teng. Everything was explained before the meeting. It has to be said that Hero is indeed courageous. Then Xu Teng, do you want to take a walk around first to understand the general structure of the space station? Only after he came to Interstellar did Xu Teng realize how powerful the computing power of Galaxy was all the time. The database is not being updated. When he was talking to Li Mingru, Xing put all the structures of the space station together have been read. The data is even refined to a single part in the room. Although Xu Teng is here for the first time, however, if the power of the mecha is turned on, and the auxiliary operation of the Galaxy is added, even if he is surrounded by law enforcement teams, he will not lose. I'm a little tired. I want to go to the room to rest first. Also, Your Excellency Xu Teng has just experienced a small battle and really needs to rest. We have arranged a room for you. Please come with me this way. On the way to send Xu Teng to the room, Li Mingru emphasized again, Halo will definitely put pressure on the Infinity Clan and make them pay the corresponding price. The families on the main star generally do not have bad relations after all. Being able to live on the main star of the Federation of Light shows that their power in the Federation is deeply ingrained. Although there is competition between enterprises, there is no less cooperation, if there is no reason to account for it. Due to the reputation, some resources will be used to pay for it. Especially Xu Teng is someone who has the power of Mecha. And those big forces can easily make up their minds. Even if it was found that it came from Blue Star, one could not help but guess. How could something at the legendary level just come from such a small force? The hidden forces behind it have never been revealed. Under this psychological suggestion, Xu Teng will receive far more than expected resource compensation. At the moment when the door closed, Xing's prompt sounded. The room has been fully scanned, and no eavesdropping device has been found. The system in the room has been taken over, has taken over some systems in the space station. Has the news of the Death God fleet been sent back? This is what Xu Teng is most concerned about. The news has been sent to Xinghu, and the news that we will use the battleship blueprint is also passed back because Xinghu was made by Xing. Although it has now come to Interstellar, but there is still a way to transmit important information back, but it just takes a while to transmit. Well, then I'll rest for a while. The effect of mecha power is really good, but it consumes a lot of mental energy. Taking advantage of this time, Xu Teng added again. But on the other side, Yang Xingchen was reporting to the family with a dark face. Chapter 485 Shadow Guard. Although Yang Xingchen did not gather thousands of pets in one, however, because he was born in the Endless Clan, one of the most powerful families in the Federation ever since he was a child, the most he heard was compliments. What? In the future you will definitely be the Federation of Light, the new generation in power. Even if it is a pity to lose the election, but with your talent and knowledge, you will be prosperous wherever you are. The racial talent of the endless race will definitely be carried forward. And Yang Xingchen took all these words seriously. The demands on themselves have always been the same. It is clear. I will be the person in power in the Federation in the future. Many things do not allow the following people to oppose him, let alone beat him in front of everyone today. Simply a shame. Xu Teng, right, I remember you. You will definitely die for me. I can't suppress you. You have backup. Am I not there? Then I will transfer the forces in the family. You are a mediocre person with no identity. Why do you fight me? The holographic call was quickly connected. On the opposite side is an old man with a gloomy appearance. Just looking at his facial features, the first impression is very unfriendly. This is Yang Hai, his father, the third elder of the Endless Clan. Before Yang Xingchen could speak, he spoke first and scolded. Don't you know what good things you did today? Call me. In every previous call, Yang Xingchen applied for assistance to him. The test in the family is coming soon. The solar system space station is Yang Xingchen's test place. In order to raise a hand for his son, Yang Hai promised him a lot. Actually, this is against the rules. However, many things are done secretly without leaving evidence for the election. Whatever you do, give something are acceptable. But today, he just sat down and hasn't dealt with the internal affairs of the company. Then he received the news that his assistant sent him. It was a news that exploded in the non-official organization. Usually, these trivial assistants will not be forwarded, but this time is different. The title is really explosive. Not only is it related to the endless race, but also the bondage circle, and even the power of the legendary mecha has come. It just so happened that the business of the bondage circle was started by Yang Hai Endless. One of the most profitable businesses of the clan is in the hands of his third elder. Because of this, many people of the Infinity clan are thinking about it. Although he is usually a little arrogant, he is still somewhat measured, and nothing major has happened. Therefore, this kind of business has always been in his control until today's news made him completely numb. Before I read it, my first thought, this must be fake. How can the restraint circle fail? But because the source is Victor Race News Channel, although the news here will also be hot, however, there are still the most basic bottom lines. For example, pay attention to the authenticity of news with skepticism. I clicked on this video. As a result, I saw a screen full of Biraji. Congratulations on your discovery of the treasure. It turns out that there is real mecha power in this world. Neatly, it took up the entire screen, and even irritated his eyes. At this time, Yang Hai only had one thought in his heart. It can't be true. Then, according to the content on the barrage, he dragged the video to the climax. It is found that the decoration is exactly the solar system space station. The person without the logo on the mecha, the light that is walking on the outside, is a faint light. Pen Fun Library. Yang Hai's pupils trembled. He couldn't believe it. The characters in the legend really appeared. He is different from that group of ordinary people, because the family's status is relatively high, and he knows some secret things. Know what symbolizes behind the power of the mecha. To be clear, if this person makes a public statement that he supports a certain family, he will have a considerable advantage in the general election in a year and a half. If this person can win over, it will definitely be of great benefit to our endless race. As a result, as soon as this thought came to him, he saw a scene that shocked him. Yang Xingchen stood on the opposite side, activating the restraint circle, aiming precisely at this mysterious man with the power of mecha. Rebel. Seeing this scene, Yang Hai couldn't help shouting out. He tried his best to pave the way for his son here, but he was better. The target activated by the restraint circle was this mysterious man. After that, his path will be much harder, but this is just the beginning, and everything that follows is a bit bizarre. The bondage circle and the mysterious man have come into contact with such a short distance. Even the people on the interstellar wanted list will capsize, and the other party seems to have calculated it unscathed. It can even cooperate with the adjutant to close the restraint circle. Boom! The surrounding things exploded in an instant and were compressed by space. Yang Hai has a hunch, if this time is not handled well, the business of the bondage circle will be handed over to others, and his status in the Endless Clan will also drop sharply. At this moment, Yang Xingchen sent a call invitation. Facing his father's scolding, Yang Xingchen was stunned for a moment, and then retorted, "Father, why are you mad at me? He beat me up in front of everyone," making the face of the Infinity Clan pale. This kind of person, neither for me nor for the family, can stay. He must be strangled in the cradle, and his strength cannot be strengthened. Although his son was a bit brainless, there was one sentence he did not say wrong, that is, the mysterious person cannot be allowed to grow stronger, especially when he was still on the competitor's side. The Golden Light Clan had already fought him harder. After being silent for a while, Yang Hai said, "I remember that Hero filed an application to the Interstellar Court a day ago, saying that he had found the trail of the Death Fleet. Normally, he wouldn't pay attention to this kind of thing, but the Death Fleet is a tumor, and anyone wants to clear them." And Hero's sworn affirmation, coupled with today's mysterious person, made Yang Hai think of something. "Father, you mean?" "Well," Yang Hai said with a gloomy face, "although the Interstellar Court can block most of the fleet, there will always be fish that slip through the net in the end. In small interstellar wars, casualties are inevitable." While listening to the analysis, Yang Xingchen's eyes lit up. In the chaotic situation, there are some more casualties, which is really not surprising. Even if a person with potential suddenly died suddenly, there is nothing that can be done. But I can't beat him. Xu Teng's operation of smashing the mecha with one punch really frightened him. Going up like this may be a waste of money. After pondering for a while, Yang Hai had a tangled expression and finally made a choice. "I'll send 2 shadow guards to your side. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 486. Both sides are crazy. Shadow Guard. As family businesses expand in larger and larger directions, it is natural to reach out to a wide variety of people among them. It is inevitable to use tough means to deter some people. The Shadow Guard is the most important underground force to maintain the restraint circle. What kind of dirty work and tiring work? You can never go wrong with the moving Shadow Guards equipped with the latest mecha. On average, 3 generations of genetic medicine were injected, which unlocked the genetic chain and awakened a more powerful force. One man is worth a small star strike fleet. This group of people has always been very arrogant, and only obeyed the dispatch of one person. That is Yanghai. Even Yang Xingchen had never seen them. The Shadow Guards are the elite of the elite, and the number has always been small. This time, my father sent 2 directly. It is enough to express how much he values this matter. Father, you... Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Yanghai. The meaning behind the power of the mecha is more important than you think. It would be better if he was on our side and could be our help, but if you're on the opposite side, don't blame us for being cruel. After a pause, Yanghai ordered, you must remember that this time things can only succeed, not fail. Otherwise, the business of the bondage circle will definitely become someone else's. I see. Also, in the end, it must be clean, but Hero will definitely stand on the side of protecting Xu Teng. If that's the case in the end, then it's no wonder that our methods are used a little more violently. When he heard this sentence, Yang Xingchen was startled. Father, is this crazy? In federal elections, vicious competition between families is explicitly prohibited because this will harm the interests of the Federation as a whole. Everyone is reluctant to have such a thing happen, but now, for Xu Teng, who has the power of mecha, his father doesn't even care about such high voltage lines. So, what a huge impact this person will have on the situation of the Federation in the future. Looking up, he looked at Yanghai's gloomy expression. Remember, you must do it beautifully in the end, and you can't let anyone find out. You try to keep a low profile these days. After the Shadow Guard arrives, your follow-up plans will be perfected again. Clear. After hanging up the holographic call, Yanghai rubbed his brows. If it was in the past, he would definitely use a combination of punches to arrange Yang Xingchen first then say something else, but now, the selection of the family is about to start. From each branch of the clan, only one person can be elected, and his representative is Yang Xingchen, and he cannot be changed even if you cheat now. You have to take responsibility first. However, Xu Teng, he remembered his name after pressing a set of mysterious numbers. Wait, Quitla drop. This is a successful call. No one spoke. The other side just listened quietly. You mobilize 2 people to the solar system space station. Be careful not to reveal your movements. Remember to contact Yang Xingchen in time when you get there. The target name this time is Xu Teng. Don't do it at the space station. They will fight the Death Fleet after a while, and do it there. No matter who it is, don't be merciful. Speaking of this, Yanghai's expression became hideous. It's far away from the interstellar center, and no one is paying attention. Therefore, even if the Golden Light Clan intervenes, don't be merciful. Silence for a few seconds. One of them was shortness of breath for a while, and then he hung up the call. On the other side, Hero has been busy. Even for a behemoth like the Interstellar Court, the news of the arrival of the Death Fleet is exciting enough in their eyes. The Interstellar Wanted list is actually a list that proves their strength. Grim Reaper has been number 1 many times. The goal of countless people is to personally arrest the God of Death. Although, Hero just used the projection and the projection of the God of Death to fight, but it has already made many people envious. Not to mention, got the exact news of the target of the Death God Fleet attack from the trajectory of the wormhole. This time their target is indeed Blue Star. Call. Hearing this, Hero's hanging heart finally hit the ground. Because the Interstellar Court has strict procedures, it is not difficult to get assistance, but there must be enough evidence. Otherwise, the 3 major star civilizations would not put their troops into it. Now that the news has been confirmed, he promised Xu Teng's help will definitely not be less. That's not a lie. For some reason, he was particularly concerned about Xu Teng, although that time it was just a quick meeting. But let the God of Death shriveled. It is really a pity that people who have not been guided and cultivated well a few times, because he has come all the way from a difficult situation. When I meet someone like this again, I can't help but want to help him. How long? Hai Luo turned around and asked the observer. From the estimated distance, there is probably still the distance of the last large wormhole. If you look at the time, it is about 5 days. 5 days, it was a little shorter than I thought. There is only one large interstellar space station nearby, that is the Solar System Space Station. A nearby interstellar base, can it be supported within 5 days? The development of the interstellar defense line is not easy, especially since the other party has a flagship, which is enough for a small interstellar scale encounter. The application has been submitted, but the opposite interstellar base replied, the flagship needs to guard the base and cannot be easily activated. Other warships can support it. Although the Star Court has a lot of warships, there are really few flagships and those have important tasks can't move easily. The observers also saw this problem, turned their heads and said, judging from their movements, there is a flagship. Lord Hero, do you want to submit an application to your family, applying to the Shining Clan? If it's my brother, yes, but he is not gritting his teeth. Hero was ruthless. If you don't dare to give it a shot, you will only spin around in the same place. He has confirmed this fact countless times. No, this time the flagship of the main battle is dispatched from my guard army. What? Not only the observers, but also the colleagues standing beside them were stunned. Is this crazy? The missing flagship of the main battle is directly mobilized from the guards. It really only belongs to your own family. Then I submitted the application. The observer stammered, crazy on both sides. According to the data, Blue Star is not a powerful interstellar civilization. The God of Death was willing to dispatch the fleet of one of his flagships. While Hero on the other side was also crazy and pressed his own legion strength. It was already full of gunpowder smell before it even opened. Walking aside, Hai Luo just turned on his communicator when a holographic video came. It's the adjutant, Li Mingru sent it. Chapter 487 Immortal Teammates. If it wasn't for something special, the adjutant wouldn't report it in the form of a deadly serial phone call. As an interstellar law enforcement officer, he has to deal with a lot of things every day. I have explained everything I should have explained, and there should be no problem with the conditions. He opened it with doubts, and the first sentence made Halo stunned. Master Halo, Yang Xingchen deliberately seeks trouble and activates the restraint circle to deal with your excellency Xu Teng. Binding circle. Hero has not used that kind of thing less often. In front of the interstellar pirates, a small thing flashing with a blue arc might end their lives if you are caught in the quilt. Even if you don't die, there is a high chance of being seriously injured. Thinking of this, Hero's breathing couldn't help becoming rapid if Xu Teng was seriously injured because of this, but Lieutenant Li's next sentence made him sluggish on the spot. We worked together to relock the restraint circle. In fact, it can't be counted as the combined power of the two of us. The most important thing is that Lord Xu Teng exerts his strength. Lord Halo, do you really not know what Lord Xu Teng has? Oh, what? Hero is full of question marks. What can the other party have? Isn't it a civilization that has just risen to the interstellar level? The power of mecha. Your Excellency Xu Teng has the power of a legendary mecha. You don't know. When I finally asked Yang Xingchen to settle the account, he almost smashed the mecha on his body, just using the power of the flesh. Yang Xingchen, who activated the second-generation genes, has no resistance. With the latter words, Hero felt like he was listening to some contemporary legend. The mecha produced by the Federal Corporation can resist the impact of small meteorite impacts. Even among their core competitors, few were able to use their physical strength to smash mechas. Not to mention, what did I hear? Mecha power. This kind of thing, not in the Federation of Light, is about to become history. Thinking of this, Hero's breathing became heavy. If it is true, there are many meanings behind this. I'm afraid you won't believe it. I purposely recorded that video and sent it to you. Open it and take a look. During the period, there is a person with a faint light shining on the mecha, who is struggling to avoid a restraint circle, and when it got close, it instantly suppressed the energy of the restraint circle to the lowest point. In an extremely thrilling way, he was able to recognize that suit of mecha was worn by Xu Teng on the Blue Star. He had seen it through projection, but he didn't know that the other party's reaction was so quick, even reaching an astonishing level. Having been on the front line for a long time, he knew that the angle and even the direction of Xu Teng's force had been calculated in detail. In the end, it was not luck to be able to successfully suppress the energy of the restraint circle. It is calculated from the beginning, and everything is calculated when it is not started. This. How is it different from what I saw when I was at Blue Star? Suddenly a thought popped up from Hero's head. If, that day, Hero wasn't patrolling the nearby galaxy, if he doesn't feel the energy of the God of Death, even if he doesn't project Penfun Library, in fact, is Xu Teng able to solve everything? The boss is actually by my side. and what Lieutenant Li said later, for example. To seek compensation from the Infinity Clan, Xu Teng stood by her side, and he promised to give Xu Teng the detailed drawings of the set of warships in his hand. These words sounded like a dream in Hero's ears. For the family's first assessment, the Solar System Space Station, Halo never felt that he would lose to Yang Xingchen of the Endless Clan. He was worried about the latter one's a new assessment within the family, the one that counts his own power. But now, Lieutenant Li seems to have solved all his future problems along the way. This is quite the fairy teammate. Under the excitement, Hero's brain was a little dizzy, as if he had lost the ability to think. He stood by the aisle railing beside him to calm down. The passing monitor couldn't help but glanced here. His worldview has been impacted by hundreds of millions today. Blue Star, isn't it a civilization that has just stepped into the interstellar level? Why is the war there? The need to use the flagship. There is another problem. The flagship is obviously Hero, and he even used the power of his own private army, but it seems to be taking advantage of himself. The universe is really big, and everyone has it. Don't understand. When Hero recovered his mood, he began to think about the next situation. The opponent's flagship unit was already going through the last wormhole. With 5 days left, the power of the flagship is too important to be fully mobilized if it wasn't for Hero himself and the follow-up line of defense arrangements. This time the interstellar court is all handed over to Halo, and no one will intervene. After all, he didn't have time to meet Xu Teng. Hey, why didn't you call Xu Teng over? When I didn't know he had the power of Mecha, I thought he was a good seedling. Now count the power of Mecha. Maybe there will be unexpected gains. Furthermore, one of Li Mingru's tasks is to transport Xu Teng safely. Thinking of this, Hai Luo began to dial a number left to him by the adjutant, which happened to belong to Xu Teng. After 3 hours of rest, Xu Teng's mental strength has recovered a lot. Just as he was about to check the model of the starship, the holographic communication beside him rang. Looking at the number, it happened to be Hero. It should be a problem with the Death Fleet. As soon as it was connected, I saw Hero's bright eyes. Your Excellency Xu Teng, don't worry. This time the Infinity Clan has done something rude to you. I will definitely help you find your way back. The second sentence is, I just came out of the Star Court and got news from the observers that the Reaper fleet is passing through the last jumping wormhole, and it will reach the solar system in less than 5 days. The other party has a lot of warships this time, and even dispatched a flagship. I applied to the interstellar court, and they were able to mobilize the battleship from the nearby interstellar base. However, due to the lack of flagships, they could not support, missing a flagship. Hearing this sentence, Xu Teng frowned. After the information provided by Xing, he had a brief understanding that in interstellar warfare, the flagship is absolutely indispensable. It is not only the role of commanding and stabilizing the morale of the military, it is even a kind of technological crushing, just like having an aircraft carrier and not having an aircraft carrier. There are two differences between having nuclear weapons and not having nuclear weapons. But the next sentence made Xu Teng wonder if he heard it wrong. So, I plan to mobilize my own private force, a flagship to support. Chapter 488. After Hai Luo finished speaking, Xu Teng did not reply immediately. Pen Fund Library, mainly because he has not recovered from the information provided by the other party. What did he just say? It looks like a flagship. No. When will the flagship be? Like something like Chinese cabbage? Whatever you say, you can take it out. After a pause, Xu Teng sorted out his emotions and asked uncertainly, you just said that you provided a flagship from private power. Looking up, Xu Teng stared earnestly at Hero in the holographic image. Want to determine each other is not a joke. Yes, in this kind of small interstellar war, the flagship can often play the role of the final word. Today, Blue Star does not have the ability to produce the flagship. The flagship of the interstellar court can't be mobilized. After thinking about it, I decided to send a personal guard force, the flagship, to support you. Galaxy's data processing ability is not ordinary, and it is possible to analyze the general psychological activities of the opponent in an instant through micro-expressions. He is serious. To be precise, judging from the expression analysis, Hero is very happy to use his flagship to support you. I have collected some information from the interstellar network. The first level of the family's assessment is based on the support rate of the solar system space station to decide whether to pass or not. At this level, Hero's chance of passing is almost 90%. However, the subsequent internal competition of the family must be counted as the power to which it belongs. If you are on Halo's side, their family's assessment will take into account the bonus of your power, but in terms of power, Hero's eldest brother is far ahead of him. I see. Xu Teng understood. In fact, It was like when he was at Blue Star back then. It was discovered by academician Zhang Ying because of the completed lightsaber. After that, whether to do the project or apply for other materials, academician Zhang Ying helped Xu Teng to carry out scientific research at the fastest speed in his own name. Along the way, I met a lot of people: junior brother Tang, Li Rongsheng's weapon boss, and academician Tuzi, all kinds of people. With their support, Xu Teng finally achieved amazing results. It can be said that he has changed Blue Star's future trajectory by himself. Grim Reaper has suffered many setbacks at Blue Star. The last Blue Star also succeeded with Interstellar Society is starting to get along this time. It was the same gamble, however. In terms of nature, Halo's move to dispatch the flagship is simply even harder than academician Zhang Ying and the others. Aren't you afraid of failure? After hesitating for a while, Xu Teng finally asked this question from many considerations. He understands if the interstellar battle is won this time, it will also be of great benefit to Hero to increase the popularity of the interstellar space. There is no suspense in the verification of the solar system space station. Even the status of the Golden Light clan will skyrocket, but these are all winning situations no matter what kind of war it is. If there is no absolute strength gap in technology, there will be no sure win situation if he lost. Hirako would have nothing. No, I trust you. Halo looked at Xu Teng with burning eyes, and then said, actually, up to now, I told you that it's okay. If I didn't have this chance, it would be absolutely impossible for me to win against my eldest brother. Since there is no choice, why not risk everything to give it a try? Maybe, in the end, things will be beyond everyone's expectations. In fact, Hailuo's idea was not wrong. If he didn't make some subversive bets, it would be impossible for him to win his big brother afterwards, not to mention becoming the representative of the family to run for the general election of the Bright Federation. Then, what should I do? According to common sense, if the other party has invested so much, they will definitely ask the other party to do something. Especially Xu Teng also has the power of mecha. Maybe ask for some tips on how to unlock the power of the mecha. After all, judging from the input of others, it is a flagship. In exchange for the experience of unlocking the power of the mecha, it is not impossible can result. The task I arranged for Lieutenant Li was to wait for you. Now that you are here, there is no need to stay there anymore. The fleet of the God of Death is here in less than 5 days. I have to go back to mobilize the flagship and arrange the defense line. I can't do it all by myself, and I need you to come and help me. When he finished speaking, Hailuo looked at Xu Teng expectantly. Xu Teng, that's it. I originally thought that the other party would make some excessive demands, but now, it's not too much. Even there is some intention to cultivate Xu Teng on purpose. Hero has worked hard in the interstellar court for decades, and for a true interstellar civilization, everyone's lifespan will be much longer. For people with a certain status in the family, the gene engine will be driven to the second generation or more. This means that the basic life expectancy is going up for 400 or 500 years. Pen Fund Library, decades of actual combat experience, his own private strength, and a flagship formation. I am afraid that the arrangement of the defense line has long been familiar. Still need me to help you? Obviously not. So, that means investing ahead of time. Halo regards Xu Teng as an important partner in the future, so he will first invest a lot of resources to help Xu Teng through the growth period. Hope it can help him in future elections. This kind of investment by Halo scared Xu Teng, who would dare to make such a big bet. At this time, the prompt tone of Xing sounded beside his ears. From the perspective of Hero's growth trajectory, he is more like a venture capital businessman. At this stage, I have done this kind of thing countless times, with failures and successes. Judging from the results, it is indeed the investment that made him break through the family's restrictions and get where he is today. I see. He raised his head and looked at the expectant eyes of the other party. Xu Teng smiled slightly. I am very willing to participate in the construction of the defense line. After a pause, he continued, Master Halo, I will keep in mind the help you gave me today, and I will do my best to repay it in the future. Hey, what's your name, sir? Just call me by my name in the future, or it's better to call me brother. On the same day, Lieutenant Li received a new task, to escort Xu Teng to Halo's territory, participate in the construction of the defense line against the Reaper fleet there. Damn. Why did he just leave at this time? Yang Xingjun, who heard the news, was furious in the bedroom because the Shadow Guard just arrived. He originally planned to kill Xu Teng quietly. After all, this is also his own territory. The Shadow Guard who unlocked the third generation gene engine is not something ordinary people can stop. Many people were unable to see the Shadow Guard's silhouette when they finally died. After venting his temper, Yang Xingjun said bitterly, it's okay, Xu Teng will let you live a few more days. Anyway, The small interstellar war site in 5 days will be your graveyard. Chapter 489 Flagship. It takes nearly half a day to reach Halo's territory from the Solar System space station. This is still in the case of the interstellar speedboat continuously opening the wormhole jump, without delaying a little time. Pen Fun Library. After hanging up the holographic call, Li Mingru turned his head and said to Xu Teng, "Your Excellency Xu Teng, we have already contacted the Infinity Clan. They are very sorry for this conflict, and agreed to a request, and decided to pay an additional 10,000 huir on this basis. In the Federation of Light, the currencies in use are whirl and soul. These two, one whirl is equivalent to 100 souls, and the soul is the most basic currency, but even so, if converted, the purchasing power of one soul is equivalent to the value of 100,000 on Blue Star. Judging from the compensation, the endless race is indeed in place, plus the material Xu Teng needs for the 5 spaceships overall is not low. However, the discerning person knows the loss of these compensations is only a drop in the bucket for the Infinity Clan if it weren't for the face of the Golden Light Clan. None of this would have been possible on the whole. Xu Teng was threatened by the Shackles Circle the most. This time, Xu Teng felt the importance of power again. If there is no support for these, no matter how unfair things happen, they are not qualified to challenge them. Well, I see. It's hard for you to negotiate this matter. Your Excellency Xu Teng is very kind. We will arrive at Lord Halo's territory in an hour. I won't disturb you. Your Excellency Xu Teng is resting." Xu Teng nodded, and the other party slowly backed away. Just when the door was closed, the beep of Xing came out. The materials they compensated can be used as the building materials of the interstellar battleship. If you have enough time, you can put these interstellar warships into this interstellar war to strengthen their actual combat experience. Blue Star wants to develop. After all, it has to rely on itself. In fact, these are also Xu Teng's ideas. The reason why he asked the other party to compensate for the materials of the interstellar battleship was to set up a fleet capable of defending the Blue Star only by narrowing the gap between Blue Star's technological strength and that of interstellar civilization. The power of the mecha that is finally unlocked can have a strong deterrent effect. Premature exposure of Blue Star's trump card does not is a smart thing. If the news of the warriors of the power of mecha on the Blue Star spreads among the stars, it must be tempted by some big families in the Federation of Light at that time. When it comes to the flagship arrangement, they are the ones who suffer in the end. Well, I have my own discretion. Have you told Xinghu about the news that you want to hide on Blue Star? Said Xinghu also transferred all the information about the power of mecha. Even if someone hacked into Blue Star's network library, they would not be able to obtain detailed information. You inform the bosses of various countries to prepare to build a berth for interstellar warships. This time, the interstellar conflict should not catch up with the previous ones, but those confrontations in the back, you have to try whatever you say. Okay. An hour later, there was a knock on the door. Your Excellency Xu Teng, the destination has arrived. Okay, I'll come out now. The core competitors of the main star family each have their own territory. It's just that the positions of the territories are different. Some are closer to the main star, and some are farther away from the main star. Halo belonged to the latter, and was far away from the main star, and could not even be regarded as within the range of the main star. After opening the hatch, Xu Teng was shocked. Not long after he came to Interstellar, the biggest building he had ever seen was the Solar System space station. There, he saw all kinds of starships. There are commercial ones and private ones. Although the body size has increased a lot, it is still within the acceptable range of Xu Teng. However, it's just bigger. Seeing the brightly lit flagship not far away, Xu Teng was stunned in terms of size. This flagship is about the same size as a Solar System space station, not even a little bit small. The coating color of the exterior is dazzling gold, which is a unique symbol of the Golden Light Clan. The whole is divided into 3 sections. The first section, like a small awl, is sharp. The second segment gradually expands, similar to a cuboid. The third segment is the largest and is flat. From the second paragraph onwards, there will be a ring that rotates around it. The golden light kept shining, activating part of the dazzling golden shield. This is the only. It was enough to get the flagship of the main battle. Those battleship blueprints given to Xu Teng's brother were not really important things. A familiar voice came from behind. It was Hero who came to pick him up. Master Hero. Adjutant Li Mingru turned slightly sideways and said, "I have delivered your Excellency Xu Teng safely." "Well, thank you for your hard work. You should go and rest first, and return to the Solar System space station later." Okay, after all, the Solar System space station is the family's assessment site, and there will be a series of negative effects if no one from the Golden Light Clan sits there. Maybe it will affect Hero's assessment results in the end. Luke, when Lieutenant Lee left, Xu Teng turned to say hello. The last time I met through a projection, I wasn't very clear. Now that I have seen the real person, I know that the Golden Light clan really lived up to the name. The whole body is surrounded by a faint golden light, forming a circle. If the attack is not strong, it can even be blocked by the golden circle. As a family on the main star, their main industries in the Federation of Light are genetic medicine and warships. Gene medicine is used to open the gene chain in the human body and try to recombine to stimulate the potential in the human body. The second-generation gene engines on the market, and even the third-generation gene engines, were developed by the Jinguang family. As for the battleship, the Federation of Light knows that the warships produced by the Jinguang clan are top-notch, and they are not comparable to others in terms of performance, armor, or power. However, there is one only drawback, that is, the cost is high, and the average person absolutely cannot afford it. Come on, how did you rest this way? Good, then why don't we go to the flagship to have a look? Turning his head, Xu Teng looked at the behemoth suspended in the interstellar space, and his eyes became hot in a way. Xu Teng is still a researcher after all, so his interest is not much. The simple point is that he will be interested in those advanced technological products. The interstellar flagship, for Blue Star, is no exaggeration. It can be regarded as the product of a century ahead. It is good, then you follow me. Hero beckoned, and 2 aircraft landed beside him. Chapter 490. The big boss is by my side. Kakuka. Along the way, the two passed through multiple levels of identity verification. Under normal circumstances, there would not be so many checkpoints for identity detection. But this time is different. I'm going to the front line to fight the Death Fleet. If an unknown person is mixed into the flagship, it will greatly increase the risk of support. The interior of the Golden Light clan was infiltrated in this way, and the main battle flagship was almost completely destroyed. Well, I can understand. Ground civilization operations pay special attention to confidentiality, not to mention this kind of interstellar civilization operations involving flagships. Once there is a problem with the flagship, the situation of the war will be reversed in an instant. Drip drip. After the sound of detection sounded from the hatch, the two entered the interior of the flagship because, in the stage of preparation for war, there are many people coming and going. When everyone passed by Hailuo, they would salute and say, "Master Hailuo." The latter nodded slightly. Judging from this phenomenon, Hero's status in the private army is the highest and is widely loved by his younger brothers. This is a good phenomenon. The family of the Golden Light clan, because it is too large, is divided into many branches, and under the branch, there are also many confidant teams that only belong to their own. If they want to win the representative of the family in the future, that must make the confidant legion completely obey himself. Otherwise, if you stab at a critical moment, it will definitely fall short. Judging from the performance of his younger brother, Xu Teng's chosen ally is a very reliable person. When the flagship participates in the battlefield, it will block the wormhole. As long as it is within a certain range, no warship can open the wormhole to jump. This plan is mainly to prevent death squads from opening wormholes and implement precise decapitation operations. Of course, it is to prevent the situation on the battlefield from further complicating. If wormholes are not disabled, even a small interstellar encounter could take months, if not years. I see it is no wonder that a war that claims to have no flagship cannot be considered a large-scale interstellar war at all. When wormholes are disabled within a certain range, many tactics are not developed. Not even a battleship can escape immediately off the battlefield. There are only two options: either die or surrender. The shield defense level of the flagship is not something that the ships on board weapons can break. This means that it is impossible to change the limit one by one after a few shots of the flagship main weapon. The shield of the battleship is about to explode, and then the result of waiting is to be smashed into slag by one shot. From the point of view of the combat time, it is indeed greatly shortened at this time. The two were walking through the ship's berthing area. There are various fighter planes in the space that can't be seen at a glance, and with the lights above, a chilling atmosphere is formed. It's an assault ship right here. Halo pointed to a fighter plane with a sharp head and explained, if it is in a desperate situation, the head of an assault ship can be used as a weapon. You can directly hit the opponent's flagship. Of course, the premise is that the shield of the flagship is broken. So there is a certain probability that the armor of the assault ship will break part of the armor of the flagship. Turning around and pointing at the small black fighter jet parked in the distance, he explained, there is a shuttle over there, and a lot of weapons have been abandoned, just to optimize its own speed and reach the limit of the body, and farther away are trappers and drones. At this time, while Xu Teng was listening, the prompt tone of Xing was ringing. It has been stored in a database and is being parsed. Parsing failed. Analysis restarting. If it wasn't for Hailuo standing next to him, Xu Teng could hardly hold back his expression. My dear, you are my dearest assistant. Others just introduce the model, and as a result, you really want to parse it out. This kind of order was not given by Xu Teng, but by Xing himself. Brother Xu Teng, are you looking a little bad? Hero, who was standing beside him, noticed that he was different. No. I just, for a while, Xu Teng didn't know how to express it. Pen Fun Library. In fact, simply speaking, he is really greedy for these models parked on the flagship, mainly because Blue Star is too poor except for the Red Dragon one. There is nothing else that can be obtained. The development of one's own power cannot always rely on the help of Hero, and the most effective way is to be strong initially. Xu Teng did not think about it, but when Xing began to try to analyze it actively, Xu Teng couldn't help but think a little more. Brother Xu Teng, do you want to ask whether these models are important? Hero could see it from his expression, but he didn't say anything on the other side. Well, if it's important, I won't bother. With a snap, a hand was placed on Xu Teng's shoulder. What are you talking about? I even lent the flagship, and I am willing to hand over the detailed drawings of the battleship. What are these? With a wave of his hand, a virtual screen appeared in front of Hero. Master Halo, what are your orders? Pack up a copy of the blueprints of the fighter jets parked here. After the packaging is complete, transfer it to Brother Xu Teng. Okay, Master Hero. Things went smoothly even beyond Xu Teng's imagination, and turned to look at Hailuo. The people of the Golden Light clan in front of him do have a lot of courage in a way. It's not just a simple gamble. The exaggerated degree of investment can be regarded as betting all the future of life on Xu Teng. Brother Luo, I will definitely help you become the representative of the family. Haha, then thank you. Hailuo waved his hand and said nothing. He didn't think much about this sentence. Looking at the back on the opposite side, Xu Teng didn't explain much. If only one person has the power of mecha, it is really difficult to change Hero's status in the family. And his eldest brother will always suppress him. It will just shorten the gap between each other, but it will not completely erase it. But if it is, what he has is the power of advanced mecha. Moreover, there are a group of people on Blue Star who have the power of primary mechas. The difference is not even a tiny bit. Already docked with the flagship, artificial intelligence assistant link is being established, data is being transmitted, data transfer is successful. Each mecha will be equipped with an artificial intelligence assistant, so Hailuo will change out the flagship artificial intelligence assistant and ask to connect with Xu Teng. But what he didn't know was, Xu Teng's guardian AI is super classy like Galaxy. What he doesn't know is that his good brother has the power of advanced mecha, plus a group of younger brothers with the power of junior mecha. This time, the boss is actually by my side. Chapter 491 Flagship Conference. After the data transmission was completed, Hailuo led Xu Teng as he walked. While introducing him, there are 2 frigate formations standing around the flagship. Each formation is 3 frigates. In fact, this number is relatively small. We are mainly at the frontline headquarters, transmitting orders there to the frigates. The place we just walked through is the Scientific Research Center, where the main role is to develop a new generation of warships. The flagship is not just the combat headquarters. Usually, the major clan branches will place some scientific research related to the battleship to the flagship's Scientific Research Center. Next, the place we are going to walk into is the command hall, which is what we often call the bridge. The heavy door in front opened instantly. Compared with other places, this is the place with the most people in the entire flagship. There were people in different uniforms sitting in different places. Xu Teng understood. They were fighters from various parts of the flagship. Commands are decided here, and sent from here, to different parts of the flagship. A huge transparent screen came into view, with various signal lights flashing above and various data displayed. At first glance, Xu Teng was shocked by the scale of this level of combat. Turning around, through the transparent glass, you can even see the escort fleet not far away being dispatched. All kinds of small fighter planes are constantly shuttled, making Xu Teng unable to help thinking about the decisive battle with the High Priest some time ago. The scene of the decisive battle was not even a little bit worse than the current one. There is no comparison in terms of the scale of participation in the war or the technological content of weapons at this time. The fighters in the room saw Hailuo come in, and all stood up and said, "Master Hailuo, all the fighters from all departments have arrived. Do you want to start the meeting now?" When he heard this sentence, Xu Teng was still stunned. Meeting? What meeting? When I turned my head, I saw that there were vacant seats in front of the conference table. One was the center seat in front of the conference table, and the other was next to it. Apparently the center seat in the conference room was for Hero. The other, come on, everyone has arrived. Hailuo patted Xu Teng's shoulder and motioned to the seat. My. For real. Initially, Xu Teng didn't think much of it when he heard Hai Luo's arrangement participating in the discussion of the construction of the defense line. Maybe just a rhetoric to reassure him, but looking at it now, looking at the eye-catching uniforms around, they are all heads of departments clearly. This is indeed a high-level meeting for the flagship. None of the officers around said a word, and there was nothing unnatural in their expressions, so it seemed that they were not surprised. On the one hand, it's because all the people who can sit here are confidants, and everyone understands Lord Hero's style of doing things. This kind of gambling-like decision is not often seen. The process is indeed a bit of a joke. But the end result is beautiful. Every time you gamble, you will end up with an unexpected income. On the other hand, the video of Xu Teng beating Ouyang Xingchen has gone viral on the official website of the Viro clan, although only an unofficial channel, but the number of visits is also terrifying, and many people choose to download and watch it repeatedly, and even reprint it to friends. The core competitor of the endless race was beaten before the general election, but it was a rare scene, not to mention, with a legendary level thing, the power of the Mechawatt, a rare sight in a century. This is, moreover, the content of the video is also very convincing. The bondage circle, which has never failed this time. Someone smashed the mecha worn by the opponent with only bare hands, and the sense of power displayed in it, they felt that it was full of visual impact through the video. Those who can sit at the flagship conference table are all people with real ability, and they are in awe of the strong themselves, a truly capable person like Xu Teng. They wouldn't say a single word of objection. Even in the bottom of my heart, I am still looking forward to what kind of views Xu Teng will put forward if he participates in the meeting. While they were watching Xu Teng was also watching them. The detection sound of the galaxy rang beside his ears. Analysis of micro-expressions. The officers present here do not have any malice towards you. There are even many people who are still looking forward to it, want to know what surprises you can put forward at the conference table this time. Don't you object? When I thought of this after a while, Galaxy's analysis report came out again. Combined with their personal accounts and the dynamics of browsing videos, it can be inferred that they have curious thoughts about you after watching your videos. I see. Since Hero did not object, they also looked forward to it. There is no need for Xu Teng to push back, then I'll just listen to it. Haha, brother Xu Teng, you can come up with any ideas at that time. Everyone is brothers, there is no need to be restrained. After the meeting started, Hero's whole atmosphere changed. Different from the light-hearted chatting and laughing just now, it turned into seriousness in an instant. The theme of the meeting has been told to you before. This time the main enemy we face is the fleet of Death God. The monitors have already obtained their approximate path, and the next focus is the establishment of the defense line. The opponent's flagship target is obvious, and our flagship must match them. As soon as the wormhole ban is lifted, most warships have no way to open the wormhole and jump past us. However, there will eventually be some fish that slip through the net. One of the things to consider is whether the God of Death will perform projections. If projections are involved in the war, it will be a lot of trouble, because Blue Star is located in a remote corner of the solar system. Many fleets cannot arrive at the first time, and because the last time Hero happened to have a conflict with a God of Death, he consciously dispatched these fleets under his hands here, calculated according to the current strength, plus the interstellar base that will come to support. Most of the troops of the Death Fleet will be dragged, but those loose fish will make people uncomfortable. While the officers of the meeting of various departments participated in the discussion, the flagship cannot be driven away, that is the main force, and the main battlefield cannot be set up near the Blue Star. The planet cannot withstand this kind of interstellar war. The interstellar base for support cannot mobilize too many warships. Otherwise, the defense force will be empty, and the Death Fleet may take advantage of it. Once the Death Fleet tried to blow up an interstellar base, but fortunately, the important information was broken in time at the end. Since then, wouldn't Xu Teng face those mist fighters alone? Everyone turned to look at Xu Teng. Chapter 492. Can the power of mecha still be used like this? The imaginary panic did not appear, and it could even be described with a word that was as steady as an old dog. Many officers subconsciously think, did Xu Teng get distracted during the meeting? We are not saying that the Death God's fleet cannot be stopped, and some small fighters or warships that slip through the net will break through the defense line. I remember that the Blue Star you are on seems to be a planet that has just entered the interstellar civilization. Of course, these words are taken to heart. Everyone understands. There will be someone who will say it. Sure enough, after listening to the speculations of the various officers, Hai Luo turned around and said to Xu Teng, the line of defense is destined to release some fighter planes, and it may even be a battleship. The interstellar base needs a part of the defense force to guard it, and we have no ability to block the entire line of defense. Implications: when you face these problems, do you have any suggestions to make? At this moment, all the officers turned to look at Xu Teng. There was a trace of incomprehension in his eyes. In the end, is because there is enough self-confidence, or because do not understand? In fact, he had already thought about this question before calling Halo. I specifically asked Xing to ask Xing how the recent plan was going. The answer was, the number of fighter jets of the Red Dragon number 1 has exploded. The construction of the solar system defense line has also been initially formed. The platform has been successfully built by means of anti-gravity engines. The weapons configured above can initially meet the requirements of the solar system defense line. The only difficulty is, because of the lack of materials for the spaceship, Blue Star does not yet have the ability to build a spaceship. I noticed that there are places on your territory that can build starships. Xu Teng asked an unrelated sentence. Yes, the materials for the starship of the Endless Race have already been delivered. That's right, the materials are on their way. It's about an hour away. Hero has already vaguely guessed something. If it does not affect the scheduling of the fleet, how much time will it take for the vacated workers to build a spaceship? After pondering for a while, Hiro waved his arm at the air. There was a ripple in the space, and a transparent piece appeared. Bright space screen. Master Halo, do you have anything to tell me? How long will it take for the dispatched construction workers to complete the construction of a spaceship without affecting the fleet's scheduling? For half a month, we can only produce second generation products that were eliminated by the family. Every family on the main star attaches great importance to the spaceship, whether it is the construction of the production line or the training of the workers of the interstellar battleship. It often costs a lot of money because having these is what can stand in the true sense at this time. All the officers present reacted how to build a space battleship on the spot, how to directly invest in the war with the Death Fleet. You are too daring, not to mention that every interstellar battleship has to go through various tests, and the operators on the battleship also need time to run in. Moreover, the engineers of those warships will never go to the battlefield with them even if Hero is willing to invest. He will not do such a mindless thing. Luo turned to look at Xu Teng with a slightly apologetic look, but the latter just replied, Brother Luo, why don't I ask in another way? No problem. If there is any material in our territory, you can just use it. Let's just give you some permission so you can check it. Anyway, the materials for the compensation of the Endless Race are also coming, and Halo did not do anything to weaken the strength of his own territory. Linking, getting permission, logged in, querying, query successful. The powerful computing power of Galaxy is far beyond everyone's expectations. It didn't take long to get what he wanted. You follow my way to ask questions? Xu Teng nodded secretly. The fact that he has a Galaxy can't be too obvious because that's not going to be a good thing. How much time would it take to build a spaceship with the materials of the baseplate that have been built today? 10 days. It was 5 days shorter than before. This answer did not surprise the officers. They themselves were people who knew the details of the territory. Just surprised. Lord Halo is so good to Xu Teng. Will be willing to use the material of the floor plate that is under construction. Moreover, this really opens up a lot of permissions. Not what he said, just a part of the authority in 10 days. It's still too late. As soon as this idea came up, I heard another question from Xu Teng. If I add my artificial intelligence to assist, will the time be shortened? Your artificial intelligence? All the officers present were stunned. Each mech will be paired with an artificial intelligence to assist in combat. This is a very common thing. Ordinary people's auxiliary combat system, no matter how advanced it is, will not exceed the type of battleship level. And now, in front of Xu Teng is a flagship auxiliary combat system. You say to it, what will happen if you add the computing power of this part of yourself into it? Isn't this so arrogant? Hiss. When he finished asking this sentence, a faint light appeared on Xu Teng's surface. This is the power of Mecha. It is indeed this thing. I have seen it. It is exactly the same as the one on the video. However, can the power of Mecha increase the power of computing? A question popped up in everyone's mind, and even Halo turned to look at him with an incomprehensible look. Even in his position, he does not know these secrets. The power of Mecha can really improve the power of calculation. Otherwise Xu Teng will not feel that everything around him has slowed down every time he fights. However, the strength of improvement is limited. The reason why Xu Teng did this was to cover up the fact that he had a Galaxy. When the power of the Mecha was turned on, everyone saw that the number of time required began to drop. 9 days, 8 days, 5 days. Can it really be done in 5 days? As a result, this is not the limit yet. The numbers are still going down. It stopped at 4.5 days at the moment when the numbers were frozen. There was a breath of cold air in the audience. Unexpectedly, the power of Mecha can still be used in this way. So, A starship that is about to break the record is about to appear? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 493 U1 and number 039, T really want to build a spaceship, will you? Hailuo, who was sitting next to him, couldn't help swallowing. He knew how difficult it was to produce battleships. This group of skilled warship construction and maintenance workers was cultivated by him at a great cost. Now it is difficult to have a complete assembly line that can produce interstellar battleships, but the breakthrough in time has been delayed. This is true both in terms of efficiency and production, but Xu Teng in front of him easily showed everyone how to break your cognition. Isn't that a spaceship? As soon as the power of the mecha is turned on, all the speed is given to me. If it really took 4.5 days to produce a battleship with absolute cooperation, many arrangements that he had not dared to think about before would be able to be implemented. Sure, time didn't calculate wrong. This sentence of Halo asked about the artificial intelligence of his flagship. The order has been received, and the model is being rebuilt to add various data. Recalculating, a series of data appeared on the screen, different from the last time. This time, it really mobilized the computing power and completely reanalyzed it. It didn't make those present wait long. The next second, a mechanical voice came out. The result is not wrong, and it is true. In combination with today's computing power, it only takes 4.5 days to produce a battleship. After being affirmed again, everyone turned to look at Xu Teng. The latter was not surprised by this result. This is what Xing said in Xu Teng's ear. 20% of the computing power has been invested, and the ratio has been set. If all the computing power of the galaxy is really released, the manufacturing time will be shortened to a shocking level. However, this time Xu Teng didn't want to make things too exaggerated. 20% of the computing power is enough. Then, brother Xu Teng, how did you plan? It is not necessary to go to the front and build a defensive line. The reason why the battleship was manufactured in such a hurry is mainly for the safety of Blue Star. I just calculated the distance, and the required time. If the battleship is completed, it is planned to go directly to the vicinity of Blue Star, build the construction of the hometown defense line, and increase the defense force. Turning to look at the expressions of the officers sitting there, Xu Teng said seriously, if there are fish that slip through the net and successfully break through the defense line, I hope these people can be handed over to us to deal with. You have already helped us a lot, and the rest of these little things can be handled by us. With a flagship wormhole blockade, it is absolutely impossible for a battleship with an amazing tonnage to break through the blockade. Moreover, Hero's own flagship has 2 escort fleets coupled with the strength of the interstellar base support. The overall defense is already very strong. If you want to develop at a high speed and health, interstellar warfare is a must for Blue Star this time. It's a great example. What's more, Blue Star also has many secrets. There are some things that are not suitable for others to know right now. For example, the people who possess the power of mecha are not only Xu Teng. There is also an extremely large army, and they are all people with the power of primary mecha. Hiro swallowed his saliva and wanted to say something. Finally shut up. Regardless of the power of the mecha, or the construction of today's warships, it is not something that ordinary people can do. The parties have this confidence, and the words of persuasion are more like unnecessary at this moment. The virtual screen appeared again. Lord Halo, all the materials for the Infinity Clan have been delivered. The construction workers have all been called. Should we start the construction of the battleship now? One sentence instantly shifted everyone's attention to Xu Teng again. After all, what Xu Teng showed just now was the power of mecha, and the ability to process data has indeed increased. However, this also means that Xu Teng himself will definitely be at the construction site. He even went off to build the battleship himself. No, judging from the video content provided by the Victor clan, shouldn't Your Excellency Xu Teng belong to the combat department? Even if the power of the mecha is against the sky, it shouldn't be able to build a spaceship. If this is the case, wouldn't we all be unemployed? Does anyone really do this? As a party, Xu Teng didn't think so much, just turned his head to look at Hailuo and replied, since the materials are here, let's start construction now and build the interstellar battleship. Fine, Hiro responded. In fact, not only those officers were curious, but even he himself became curious about it. That is, isn't Xu Teng a combat officer? No one really understands the construction of spaceships, but looking at Xu Teng's expression, he doesn't seem to be nervous at all, is it? Thinking of this, Hiro couldn't help swallowing again. From today, Xu Teng has given him a lot of surprises. Originally, On the surface, everything seemed to be a big loss for Hero himself, but now, the reversal is on the line. Seems like he made a lot of money with such an exaggerated ally. Is it possible that any pig teammate can fly in the election? When Xu Teng came to the construction workshop of the starship, he knew that it was really big. A floating place that cannot be seen floats in the interstellar space. And the built basic parts are fixed below. An interstellar transport ship is unloading materials, full of piles. The workers in the distance have already started work, and the assembly line of the workshop is working in an orderly manner. The manager of the base greeted Halo, who pulled him over and said in a low voice, "This time, the construction of the interplanetary battleship is all under the responsibility of Brother Xu Teng." The manager nodded. Sensible. It should be a designer hired from outside who spent a lot of money to transform the interstellar battleship. As a result, he turned his head and was Netizens. "Isn't this the Xu Teng who has exploded in the interstellar network? What's the matter? Isn't he a member of the combat department? Why would you come to participate in the construction of the spaceship? This is no joke, Starship." It can be seen that the flagship officers who followed did not say a word, but watched curiously. No way? Some people are combat personnel on the surface, but behind the scenes is a spaceship designer. When Galaxy connected to the database, the scene in front of Xu Teng changed, become a design note of a starship. Chapter 494, A Plot Only in a Dream. The information database has been connected, and the data is being updated. Data import is successful, and analysis is in progress. Analyzing. Of course, Xu Teng will not be alone in the construction of the starship. With such a good auxiliary system as Galaxy, I would definitely choose to arrange it. There are roughly two aspects to improving the construction speed of space battleships. One aspect is to connect its own computing power to improve the production speed of the assembly line. The other aspect is to improve the production process of the starship. There is no problem with the first aspect. Galaxy's computing power has long exceeded everyone's imagination. Part of the computing power has been connected in, and the production speed of warships is expected to increase by 100%. This voice was heard by everyone present. "It turns out that Your Excellency Xu Teng's metro power can improve so much computing power. No wonder, now I understand it. Why can the angle of the restraint circle be accurate to the specific direction, and even the strength can be controlled well, and then, the obvious effect is the production line not far away began to speed up. It can be clearly felt that the various accessories and the speed of the machine installation are getting faster." Only, as the eldest brother, Hero did not leave just staring at Xu Teng, who was standing not far away. In his goose, this will not be the end, it may be the beginning of the beginning. The officers next to each other looked at each other, and finally gathered up the courage to step forward. "Master Halo, we don't have a lot of time, and the Death God fleet is coming soon. And our defense line arrangement has not been completed, and we also need to communicate with the surrounding interstellar bases." "Hold on, the officer looked surprised, a little surprised by Hero's reaction. He, who has always focused on major events, seems to be looking forward to something at this moment. Everyone turned to look at Xu Teng, who was looking into the distance, with a faint glow on his body. The power of the metro was indeed activated, and the computing power began to be connected. But, isn't this all over? Could it be that something incredible will happen at this moment? Xu Teng's hand moved forward. A virtual the keyboard appears in front of you. What data is he going to change? Someone reacted and turned to ask the technician of the spaceship beside him. The latter was also stunned by the sight in front of him, and this gesture was a little too natural. It looked like he had full confidence. "If I guessed correctly, Xu Teng, Your Excellency should be planning to change some orders, and these instructions are all related to the construction instructions of the interstellar battleship. To put it in layman's terms, he wants to optimize part of the production process." Optimization. As flagship officers, they know what it means. If a program can be smoothly optimized, the overall quality of the battleship will be improved a little. Maybe the thickness of the protective shield needs to be increased, or maybe the energy conversion efficiency is higher. But no matter which one it is, it will improve the overall performance of the fleet a little bit. For some warships in important positions, or warships that perform important tasks, this performance is a little bit better. Maybe it will be a key change point in the battlefield, and a certain family on the main star is willing to pay a sky-high price for that little bit of warship performance improvement. The Golden Light Clan is no exception. As key producers of warships, they are the ones who know best what a performance boost is. Is this possible? The officer with the flagship couldn't help but ask his own question. The first impression of Xu Teng is really deep, a proper combat system, but now it is necessary to transform into the strongest battleship designer that can rival the main star family of the Federation of Light. This is a little bit of a surprise. Wait a minute, I'll synchronize the picture over there now, with the operation of the technicians. The instructions from Xu Teng began to synchronize, and standing at the front is Hero. Unlike other people's shocked expressions, his eyes were a little more excited. It's the kind of excitement that is about to witness a miracle, not to mention, for the newly recognized younger brother, today he gave him too much cognition to overturn. It is not impossible to optimize the craftsmanship of the battleship. The production process of the battleship has been connected, and the overall process is being scanned. You really have the ability to streamline the production process of battleships process to optimize? Xu Teng was still a little skeptical about this approach. If it was before, it really wouldn't work. It's just that some new knowledge was unlocked in the knowledge treasury just now, which happened to be about battleships. Scan the whole body and analyze it for comparison. Just a small optimization of the production process is still possible. In fact, this is what surprised Xu Teng. Whether it is the power of mecha or the weapons of the god-killing level, what Xing has is the top existence even in the Federation of Light at that time. It was really just because of the invasion of Death God civilization that such a simple thing destroyed an entire civilization. Now, after Xu Teng really arrived in Interstellar, he felt that everything was far from simple. Ding! The scan has been completed. There are 3 places in this spaceship that can be optimized, respectively: armor, power source, and wormhole algorithm. The time required is as follows. A series of data appeared in front of Xu Teng, clear and simple. With the addition of the power of the primary mecha, Xu Teng's brain thinking operation speed has been greatly accelerated. Originally a scientific researcher, he personally made the design drawings of the Red Dragon #1. Combining those data now, the meaning can be understood in an instant. Fingers flipped, the model of the battleship was built, and the locations were marked with a series of data commands entered. 3 separate parts of the battleship were taken out after the simultaneous screen projection. Everyone looked dumbfounded. What does this mean? Yes, it was the overall structure of the battleship just now. Why were 3 parts taken out separately? Turning his head, he saw the technicians of the battleship stunned. As if I had never seen such an outrageous thing in my life. My cognition was about to be broken. That's the part to optimize. There are 3, whether it was the flagship officer or hero, they were all shocked. Penfun Library. The senior designers they hired can usually only find 1 part. If it is 2 parts, it is simply a bloody profit. 3 parts, sorry, this seems to be something that happens in a dream. As a result, it's really happening now. Chapter 495. Can it be used for the flagship? Halo, who stared wide-eyed at the side, finally adjusted his breath, asked in a tone as calm as possible. I think the 3 parts that Xu Teng called out are still more important. The technician standing by the side followed suit. Yes, the 3 parts are armor, power source, and wormhole algorithm. For a starship, these 3 parts are the most important. The effects during the period are enough resistance to beating, improved energy conversion rate, and extremely fast running, called the roll of the heart. Are you serious? Halo's tone gradually became a little unsteady. I just wanted to see brother Xu Teng tried. As a result, you directly gave me a king bomb. Who can bear this? The beating rate of the heart subconsciously became faster. Really, the armor part is almost done. Following the technician's words, everyone turned their heads and looked at the synchronized picture at the top of the screen. Xu Teng didn't put the existing armor technology into it, but added something to it: some recipes for astral iron. After improvement Xu Teng only understood when the galaxy was analyzed through big data just now. Star Iron's technology, even if it is placed in the Federation of Light, is a technology with considerable technological content. The general family on the main star absolutely cannot have it. It was also at this time that Xu Teng realized, it turned out that Xingqian Iron, who was able to break through the defense of the god of death, was not something to be underestimated. During this refining process, the melting point of the existing armor refining technology is lowered. Inject raw materials into it, and extend the refining process of Star Iron with the output of a series of commands. Everything on the analog graphics changed again. The armor of the starship began to show a certain amount of extension, from beginning to end, like putting on new clothes for the battleship, also with a little light, like the stars. Quick, what does the simulation result look like? Hero turned his head and asked the technician, full of anticipation. Just from the perspective of the armor of the battleship, it is not an ordinary level. With a gesture of the hand, a virtual screen appears in the hands of the technicians. With a series of commands entered, the flagship's AI starts to perform a self-check. All heard the mechanical AI voice. The changed armor is undergoing self-check. After the self-check, there is no problem with the star armor named by Xu Teng. The model is being constructed, and the detection is in progress. Armor is no problem. Hearing this sentence, everyone's expressions were extremely excited, at least for this part. Xu Teng has more knowledge than they think. Who said that the personnel of the combat department can't be scientific researchers? Others are not only able to study the armor part of the starship, they don't even need to re-examine whether their technology is correct at this point. The detection has reached the final stage. Install the star iron technology on all parts of the interstellar battleship. At the same time, compare the situation of the original armor. A series of virtual firepower was erected and developed against various parts of the battleship. Boom boom boom. You can even hear the sound of virtual naval guns. The part of the battleship where the original armor was installed slowly indented, and the cracks began to expand and a big hole is formed. Boom. The armor exploded directly. The interstellar battleship with the star iron part installed is still in a strong state. The test is completed. Through the simulation, the performance of the armor part of the battleship has been improved by 20%. When the result came out, the flagship officers looked at each other in dismay. 20%. This is somewhat outrageous. Could it be a calculation error? Some people carefully put forward their ideas. If this kind of armor made of star iron can be installed on the flagship, then the meaning behind this armor is not so simple. You can even go straight up created a brainless crushing situation where the flagship directly charged. There is no calculation error, and the results of the experiment do not contain any water. The flagship's smart voice sounded again, this time thoroughly confirming the results. Gollum, everyone couldn't help but swallow. What exactly is going on with these technologies? Hai Luo asked from the side. From the beginning, he found something. Xu Teng simulates the development of star iron. When I was there, I didn't cover up with them, and even acted openly and generously. Every step is recorded in full. This means Xu Teng gave them this technique to execute on the spot. Let me see. The technician enters a series of instructions, and the video just now is played back, and even infinitely enlarged. Anyone can see the procedures. Your Excellency Xu Teng, the melting point of the original armor smelting has been reduced a lot, and some other raw materials have been added to it, and these raw materials, hey, even the overall order of refining. The technician exclaimed. The process of opening the operation. This is the first time he has seen a completely undefended scientific researcher. Even in the Federation of Light, technology is always hard currency, especially the scientific research personnel related to the battleship. Even if you commit a little thing, but surrender to a big family of the main star civilization and use the strength to prove the value of their scientific research and technology, the interstellar police really came to the door, and even if there is definite evidence, the big family will try their best to release you on bail. Therefore, every technology demonstration is strictly confidential. If it involves the steps of developing materials, or the formula ratio, it is simply impossible to see. No one will even let you watch it live without spending a fortune. Now, Xu Teng fully discloses the technology, and even the parts that need attention are clearly marked in red. It's just a caring butler service. The flagship commander next to him also saw it and looked at Xu Teng with a complicated look. When they knew that Lord Halo was going to go out with his flagship, it was just for a blue star civilization to solve the crisis. Although no one said it, but my heart is somewhat incomprehensible. Is it really worth it? Later videos, plus now live battleship technology upgrades. The feeling of incomprehension disappeared. Completely enough. The gap between us and Lord Halo will not be able to fill up in a short time. Facts have proved that Lord Hero has made another successful investment. Can these star iron technologies be used on flagships? Hai Luo, who was standing by the side, asked everyone's heartfelt thoughts. Chapter 496, The Star Warship Personnel Being Pinched. Before the technician standing by the side spoke, Xu Teng's voice came from the flagship. Artificial intelligence. The technology of zinc and iron can also be applied to the flagship, and the construction method is the same. However, compared with a battleship, the effect is not so obvious. After typing a few codes, a model diagram of the flagship appeared in front of everyone just like before. It is also simulated to withstand fire. After a few seconds, the results came out. Equipped with the flagship star iron, the defensive properties are increased by 1%. Everyone around was stunned. We didn't even see how you did it, but you helped us get the results we wanted in the future. Is there really a scientific researcher in this world beyond everyone's imagination? Obviously, there is. While others are still frowning on improving science and technology, Xu Teng has straddled the combat department and the scientific research world. After all, it's the kind that stands tall. It is very difficult for ordinary people to reach the point in their life. A 1% increase in defense doesn't seem like much, but it's a value placed on a flagship, their flagship of the new generation of the Golden Light Clan. The researched performance is improved by 5%, And it took a huge amount of data to succeed with all of this in front of him. Xu Teng just changed the technology and got this kind of performance improvement. Looking at the other party's indifferent look, it seems that he has not done anything extraordinary. Quick, seal up all these plans, encrypt them as top secret documents, and are strictly prohibited from spreading them out. Clear, understand. The technician standing by the side quickly entered a series of instructions when inputting commands. My fingers trembled constantly, and I couldn't calm down. This is an armor technology that can be used by flagships. Lord Hero, where did you find researchers with this kind of technology? At this moment, Hai Luo stared at Xu Teng's back in a daze. If this scene is known to Yang Xingchen of the Endless Clan, I am afraid that he will not vomit blood. It's just not clear whether their endless race will be deprived of the qualifications for competition because of a stupid act made by someone only. The higher Xu Teng can stand in the future, the more open he will be. He has never hugged a thigh before, but he actually wanted to try it. What kind of taste it is to hug a thigh. Clap clap clap. The sound of Hero's applause turned everyone's attention again. Okay, let's leave brother Xu Teng alone. Others still have his business to do, and our defense line has not been decided yet. Everyone remember, this conflict with the Death Fleet is not only a challenge, but also an opportunity. If we can grasp it, the final family competition will give us a better chance of winning. I think that's what you want to see too. All those present were Hero's henchmen, and they had followed him from the very beginning when they decided to compete for the core person. Be humble and take care of your subordinates. All the leadership qualities they want can be found in Hero Pen Fund Library. That's why they've always been willing to follow him. Now that the situation is slowly clearing up, everyone has only one goal, that is, let Lord Hero sit on the throne of the family representative and participate in the general election of the Bright Federation. I swear to follow Mr. Hero Luo to the death. Okay, then let's leave here, and leave the rest to brother Xu Teng. Before leaving, Hero specially instructed the technicians no one is allowed to question Xu Teng's decision. If the other party asks for something, they must do it immediately, and they must not deliberately embarrass others. Master Halo, you can rest assured. We will strictly implement your orders. We will do whatever Lord Xu Teng says. If Xu Teng likes to meddle in the battleship before the armor comes out, the technicians will definitely be uncomfortable. They are just that simple. Before you have technology, we will not listen to what you say. However, once conquered by your technology, that needless to say, I am now in the shape you want. No matter what you ask for, it won't be too much. Turning his head, the technician looked at Xu Teng's serious modification of the second module, and his eyes were full of light. If nothing else, he looks so handsome. If I can learn a little bit, wouldn't I be able to call the wind and call the rain too? It is good, guys. You have to find a way to lick Lord Xu Teng at this moment. Although Xu Teng did not look back, however, through the link to the database, Galaxy has already analyzed the meaning of the technicians at the same time. Because Hero gave the order, everyone knew what happened here. Warren. The enthusiasm of the technicians for you began to rise, and many people inquired about your deeds. Some people even openly expressed that they want to be your apprentice. Sure enough, it was exactly what Xu Teng thought. The enthusiasm of some people has become excessive, and the technicians are so easy to handle at Blue Star. Xu Teng experienced it unexpectedly. With the expansion of the environment, the atmosphere has become a little hotter. Among them, none of them can beat me. While extracting the energy part of the battleship, he asked casually. Well, no, from the point of view of the researchers, you are the best among them. After being silent for a while, Xing added another sentence. At the same time, it is the best technology among them. That's good, Xu Teng replied casually. In that case, there is nothing to worry about. Looking at the energy being taken down, Xu Teng mused. It is not an easy task to change energy, especially the conversion efficiency, which involves a lot of things. To be more specific, the most important thing is the shield. The importance of the flagship is self-evident. There is a transfer station for orders, and the operation of the fleet is largely dependent on it for mobilization. At the same time, because the target is large, the possibility of being focused is the highest. Both sides will focus most of their firepower on the flagship, and in this case, the flagship will be sunk first. The trend of the battle will change in an instant. Therefore, the shield is the most important point of the flagship, and the energy involved is the top priority. Xing, scan the entire energy part first. Okay, Xu Teng's idea is, first let Xing scan it comprehensively, and then use the knowledge in the knowledge treasure to analyze it. See if you can directly find the loopholes and analyze them. This is the quickest way. Chapter 497. After all, the battleships here need to be completed quickly and put into use. The scan has been completed and is being compared with a database. Comparison is completed. and no knowledge match is found in the database. Combining data into the knowledge treasure house for matching. After the search is completed, no relevant knowledge has been found in the knowledge treasure house. Hearing this prompt from Xing, Xu Teng was stunned. The database was not found to be able to understand, but there is no relevant knowledge in the knowledge treasure house, so I am a little confused. Are you? Before the words were finished, Xing's tone changed a bit. It's not that my knowledge treasure house is not fully opened. If it is opened, it's just a small matter that I can solve in minutes. Man, AI has its own emotions judging from memory. This is indeed the first time that Xing has suffered a setback. Look up and look at the starship being built not far away. The manufacturing process of the armor has been transformed, and the production line is now producing star iron technology. The energy part in the wormhole, as a follow-up process, will not affect the progress of the project now, but these problems cannot be postponed. They must be resolved. The overall strength of Blue Star's defense is still somewhat weak. If it is not stronger in the space battleship, every interstellar battleship that breaks through the defense line will bring enormous pressure to Blue Star. If you can't borrow everything in the treasure house of Xing knowledge, you can only rely on yourself. But I haven't learned anything related to starships. Try the power of mecha power. Xing's sudden notification sound made Xu Teng stunned. You mean that the power of mecha can make people understand faster? To be precise, everything related to interstellar weapons can be understood quickly. The power of the mecha can have such a terrifying legend in the entire interstellar space, but it is not just the crushing of the battle level that determines his status. In interstellar combat, the factors between victory and defeat tend to be more complicated. If a civilization, their warriors are not only capable of fighting, but also have super combat power, at the same time, there are warriors who can open battleships and even repair battleships exist. With these factors added below, are you absolutely sure they will lose? I see. After hearing Xing's explanation, Xu Teng understood a little. No wonder, at that time, the nation with the power of mecha could become the entire known universe. There is simply no so-called three main star civilizations. Such almighty people are not always crushed wherever they are placed. Turning his head, he looked at the technician standing not far away. Come here. I have something to tell you. The technician didn't react at once. Is it so sudden? I made a wish just now, and it was done right away. Your Excellency Xu Teng, if you have anything, feel free to tell us, and we will do it right away. No matter what you ask, we will try our best to solve it. Technicians are that simple. You conquered me with technology, and I became what you wanted. Actually, I still like your proud and unruly look back then. Xu Teng said in his heart. Pen Fun Library. Actually, it's not a big deal. It's just asking you to gather all the technicians who understand the energy of battleships. I want to hear their opinions. The former's eyes couldn't help but light up when he heard this. Your Excellency Xu Teng, you mean? He swallowed his saliva and said in a somewhat disbelieving tone, can we participate in the transformation of the energy section of the starship this time? As a researcher, Xu Teng understands this is a proposal that no researcher would choose to reject and consider from the actual situation. Xu Teng really needs their advice, of course not just for renovation, but for basic ones as well, because he was going to try what Xing told him. Using the power of mecha to understand the so-called knowledge of warships will really reach a surprising level. Okay. I'll go right now, and I'll call them all over. The operations on the assembly line have always been the responsibility of the flagship artificial intelligence, and the designers of the energy section are not very busy at the moment. Before long, the whole news came out. A large group of designers who looked a little old on their faces sat in a bright hall, all with a little excitement and nervousness on their faces. When the technology of Xingchen Iron came out, the whole design team was passing on one thing: that's Lord Hero bringing back a design genius. He can increase the armor strength of the flagship by 1% with his own strength. At that time, the designers of their armor team almost burst into laughter because this technology is public. Whether it is from the refining sequence of the star iron or the formula ratio, it is very clear. Moreover, the drawings are still ultra clear and can be expanded without limit. No detail will be overlooked. This means all technicians have the opportunity to learn this kind of technology. So, is Xu Teng just a researcher with super technology? Do not. That is simply the god we have to worship, but they also know that all this is because of Lord Hero. The technology will be disclosed as confidence. They will definitely not spread this technology because forming a good relationship with a person like Xu Teng is far more rewarding than an evil relationship. It's not. How long has it been? They can get on the part of the energy transformation of the interstellar battleship on their way. The wormhole technicians personally sent them various gifts one by one. I must be happy to serve your Excellency Xu Teng. Our wormhole team also wants this kind of technical treatment. For the first time, the technicians in the entire territory were so united, no squirting, quarreling when the door to the meeting opened, and a young man walked towards him, sunshine, handsome, no matter from which point of view. They are the kind that belong to the perfect level. Okay, since all the people participating in the meeting are here, the reform meeting will officially begin. Only, Xu Teng waved his hand and drew everyone's attention. This time, before you come up with ideas, give a general introduction to what you are good at, and finally propose changes. Through Galaxy's big data calculation, Xu Teng has learned some simple knowledge when starting the power of the mecha. For those in-depth knowledge still do not understand, these are strictly regulated, and this group of researchers in the territory just happens to be good at what they are good at. Just listen to them explain in person. Huh? Has the form changed? I understand. This is what Your Excellency. Xu Teng wants to examine us looking at each other. Shuang Shuang's desire to express continued to rise. Chapter 498. The outrageous things are not. Another one again. Not long after Xu Teng finished speaking, a technician wearing golden glasses stood up beside him. It is the supervisor of the energy section of the battleship, Chen Hua. After learning about Xu Teng's superb technology, he placed his position very low, always be there as an assistant. Although Lord Xu Teng did not make any demands on him, however, this did not affect his enthusiasm. What is the most important thing for researchers? Of course, learn how to live with a qualified attitude. Tactical lean back JPG. Now, the time has come. Pen Fund Library. Your Excellency Xu Teng, I am me. I will come first. Seeing Xu Teng nodded to him, the latter tidied up his clothes. And his temperament changed in a while from licking a dog to becoming an expert in the professional field. Cough, cough. How important is the transformation of battleship energy? I won't emphasize it anymore. Let me talk about the research I have done over the years. Wave your hand. A virtual screen appears in everyone's eyes. I mainly work on this part of the starship engine. The engine is divided into external and internal. The exterior is armor, and it needs to withstand the firepower of other warships. For this, the star iron technology researched by His Excellency Xu Teng can do this well. Having said that, he turned his head and smiled at Xu Teng with a very dog-legged smile. In the past, this group of scientific researchers, who have always been fair and unscrupulous, did not feel any discomfort at this moment. He even regretted in his heart. Damn, he was licked by Chen Hua in advance. This time, I'm mainly talking about the internal structure of the engine. With a wave of gestures, the virtual screen turns pages and various small structures of the engine appear. Unlike planetary civilization, our engine does not have a shaft, because it is not suitable for interstellar travel. In general, it is divided into various regions. Various catalysts and raw materials appear in different places in each area, and then enter another part through the conduit. Chen Hu spoke earnestly on the stage. I have to say that after ignoring the scene of him licking the dog only academically speaking, he is indeed a real person. In-depth explanation, thorough understanding. Even if Xu Teng has never been exposed to the knowledge of the interstellar battleship engine, it is also very fast to understand. As a light was lit, seeping from the surface of the Guardian. This is the power of the mecha in operation. Is this the power of primary mechas? Actually, I can really see legendary things with my own eyes. Let's not say anything else. This thing from Your Excellency Xu Teng is really handsome. Wait. I seem to find that the power of the mecha this time is a little more dazzling than before. Brighter. Did you get something wrong? Yes, this is the power of mechas. You thought it was the source of light on our heads? What's brighter and darker? Yeah, that's the power of mecha. I must have seen something wrong. In fact, the person who asked the question really did not understand it wrong. This is no ordinary mecha power. To be precise, it is the power of advanced mecha. The power of the advanced mecha has been activated, and the processing speed of data continues to increase. The external data is being accepted, the brain is accepting, starting to try to understand, increase in data processing ability. The part of the knowledge is being interpreted, and it is decomposed, absorbing. Until this time, Xu Teng didn't understand what Xing meant by what he said. The power of the mech can indeed digest the knowledge related to the starship. Moreover, the speed of digestion is far from the kind that ordinary people can understand. What Chen Hua is explaining now is the height that he has used for nearly a lifetime to reach. But for Xu Teng, under the calculation of advanced mecha power, everything is parsed very simply. It is as if the entire knowledge has been analyzed, from difficult to easy. When all this was finished, Chen Hua turned to look at Xu Teng, who was standing beside him. Your Excellency Xu Teng, is there anything you want to add? He has made up his mind to be a scientific research tool as long as it can make the big guy happy, no matter what it becomes. I think it's okay. No, next one. Xu Teng waved his hand. Good Li. Chen Hua's face was excited. It turned out that when he was affirmed by the boss, the taste was so refreshing it is decided that I will be your little brother from now on. In fact, in this short period of time, Xu Teng, all the knowledge Chen Hua said was absorbed even a step forward. Some obviously unreasonable research and transformation can also be seen only for time. Xu Teng had to continue listening to the content of the remaining few people in this way. Under the structure of galaxy big data, we can have the greatest opportunity to build the interstellar battleship. Otherwise, in the final phase of the Death God fleet, Blue Star's defense line will completely collapse. Dada. One of the designers who just came up has the same smile as Chen Hua, showing a kind smile to Xu Teng. It seems to be a little different from what Luo just said. I remember him saying, the temper of this group of researchers is bigger than each other, but now, their smiles are warmer than each other. Your Excellency Xu Teng, shall I start? Well, let's get started. Xu Teng, who was sitting at the top, still did not speak, but the light of the power of the mecha gave a sense of mystery. During these 3 hours, everyone performed hard in front of Xu Teng. How hard they scolded others before, how much they slapped their face now. However, every time until the end, Xu Teng just nodded slightly. It was this small affirmation that made everyone ecstatic. Sure enough, the person who understands me best is Your Excellency Xu Teng. Only, Chen Hua, who was sitting not far away, had a gloomy expression on. They were actually licked by them. No, I have to step up. When everyone finished speaking, they sat in the distance and waited quietly for Xu Teng to summarize, but he found that he was just sitting there, staring at the knowledge that everyone just explained. Hey, do you think Your Excellency Xu Teng will change all the blueprints of the starship in this conference room? The others were stunned. No way. Before he could finish speaking, he heard someone say something in a low voice, but isn't that how Xingtian's blueprint came out? When the sentence was uttered, everyone was stunned. Yes, Xingtian iron came out like this. Although some of the changes to the starship energy sources are really outrageous, but this is not the only thing that is outrageous. Everyone turned their heads and looked at Xu Teng with burning eyes. Chapter 499 Crazy Idea. There was a trace of suspicion in his eyes, but a little bit of anticipation. If it is really possible, then don't we also have technology that can rival the real top of the Golden Light Clan? And Xu Teng, who looked up at the virtual screen, was sorting out the knowledge he had received. Knowledge has been classified and is being sorted out, completed, summarizing and summarizing, with a sound of galaxies prompt. It was in a place that no one could see. All that knowledge was digested on the spot, and then gathered in Xu Teng's mind. With the addition of advanced mecha power, everything becomes different. The difference is this: the knowledge that is understood directly becomes part of the practice and skip those stages that are verified. As Xu Teng's mecha power was still flashing, and the eyes of the people around him became more and more curious. They stared at each other, all in their eyes. Soon, good things are coming soon, and the reality is indeed very similar to what they thought. All the background data has been read, and the core of the database has been established. The knowledge collected in the database is enough to support the analysis of big data. Do you want to design now? Design now. It is running and has been connected to the flagship artificial intelligence submitting application. The application is complete. With a click sound, the virtual screen instantly appeared in front of everyone. Xu Teng, who was sitting on the chair, stood up instantly and waved his hand. Models appear in everyone's eyes. This is the knowledge we just explained. Chen Hua, who was closest to Xu Teng, was shocked. He thought about things going in many ways, but absolutely never thought about it in the end. It developed in this way. Can the knowledge we learned really support the change of the energy part of the starship? Some people are a little less confident, although they belong to the highest level of scientific research personnel here in Halo. However, Lord Hero's status in the Golden Light Clan is not the highest. There is only one real core competitor, and that is Hero's big brother. The Golden Light Clan spent a lot of resources in order to cultivate Hero's eldest brother, of which the largest investment was in scientific research. The interstellar battleships and flagships there are the real Jinguang technology. These people have been fortunate enough to see each other's designs. I have to say that when you meet with your peers, you will know what real crushing is. At that moment, everyone's faces were filled with shame. Our scientific research path seems to be different from theirs. That is, at that moment, no one said. However, everyone knows it. Everyone began to doubt themselves from the bottom of their hearts. Then, when Xu Teng mobilized their knowledge base, everyone felt a little guilty, even scared. Should be possible, Chen Hua said tremblingly. Pen Fun Library. For fear that Xu Teng, who was standing in front of the crowd, turned around and spread. What have you learned all your life? Everyone carefully cast their gazes over and found that the parties did not care about the people around them. It's just that the hand is constantly swiping. And as it zooms in or out, different parts are dropped or changed. Moreover, there will be a red mark on it. There is a problem with the link of the pipeline, which is not suitable for energy conversion. The direction of the cross-sectional area is wrong, and there is a certain amount of offset, which will not affect the theory in theory. But if you consider the actual factors, plus the pressure of 2%, there will definitely be a burst. The equipment installed on it is not actually needed. After removing it, its function will not be affected because the screen is shared. Even if they're standing by, they can call the program to see what's been deleted. The mood that was still happy at first all fell to the bottom. It was at this moment that everyone found out it's not that there is no problem with their knowledge, it's that Lord Xu Teng didn't interrupt them on the spot. Everyone who figured this out, their faces began to turn red. I just made a model and substituted all the overall data into it, and found one thing, that is, Your Excellency Xu Teng's pipeline link is indeed the most efficient. Me too, substituting the whole into it. Most later, it was found that the direction of the cross-sectional area was indeed wrong. If nothing else, that 2% pressure can already explain everything. So, this is Lord Xu Teng saving us face. Someone couldn't help but muttered. It was such a simple sentence that reminded everyone of the time when they visited Big Brother Hero. Throughout the early stage of the visit, the other party was deliberately polite. Everyone has also been caught in the misunderstanding of this first impression, so they are more casual when speaking in the final scientific research acceptance results. Those sarcastic voices seemed to penetrate into their hearts. Did you learn this stuff after decades of study? My mechanical dog is better than yours. I thought the level of the chief designer would be. The result, this is it. Accurate strikes from peers will always be a little more uncomfortable than those from laymen. It was also at that time that they realized that doing scientific research and whether or not they will spray people are actually two different things. Pen Fun Library. But some people are not only good at scientific research, but also excellent at spraying people. Confidence is lost at that time. But now, someone told them this way the level of scientific research is a little bit, it is not a big deal. Just take a slowly look. Can't you also understand the red mark? Just when everyone was thinking about it, Xu Teng had overcome several difficulties in succession. There is no problem with the link of the pipeline, the redundant equipment has been removed, and the space utilization rate has increased. The overall space structure has been formed. Loading. There is no problem with the detection. After listening to the series of self-check procedures, Xu Teng finally breathed a sigh of relief. Explained that your understanding of knowledge is not a problem. So now, it's the final stage, how to maximize the conversion efficiency of these energy sources. When thinking of this, he turned his head to look at the core of the heart. In fact, there is his true core. The engine of wormhole computing is very powerful. And it can even tear space apart. What if all of this was added to the energy source? This is Xu Teng's crazy idea. Chapter 500. Don in number 039, Asking is personal charm. The synchronized data screen also shows everything. This is Your Excellency Xu Teng connected the wormhole computing engine to the energy part. No way, there is such an innovative method. Is it really possible? Compared with the star iron technology involved in the armor part, the energy change is the most daring one. Wormhole computing engine access. An engine that can open a wormhole will have an obvious advantage, that is, the computing power is particularly strong, and it can process a large amount of data in the same batch. If it can be combined with the energy part, it does have obvious advantages. Which part needs the energy, which part is the energy sent to, is all very carefully allocated. The downside is this innovative approach really possible? Can energy really withstand the load of wormhole computing? If it hadn't been proposed by His Excellency Xu Teng, they would have shot him directly when they saw this idea purely whimsical and illogical. But now, looking at the constantly dismantling parts and adding accessories of His Excellency Xu Teng in the main seat, they suddenly had a feeling this doesn't seem to be a temporary intention, but it has been set from the beginning. At this time, Xu Teng has entered another state of ecstasy. Constructing a data model and continuously importing the data algorithm structure of the wormhole, the first simulation operation, the structure of the overall frame is being tested. There is no problem with the algorithm structure of wormholes. The structure of the overall frame can withstand operation. Start the first test. After activating the power of the advanced mecha, Xu Teng's mental strength continued to rise. Then, the world built with spiritual power began to appear again. In this, combined with the calculation of galaxy, Xu Teng is equivalent to a real god, and any details can be controlled in scientific research. The only wish is to be able to grasp all the details with a wave of his hand. A gray stream of data floated from one end and poured into a surrounding model. The front is the data algorithm structure of the wormhole, and the latter is the overall framework of the energy part. Take the first test of your idea. Not long after the experiment started, there was a bang. It exploded directly. Analyzing results, the machine was not able to withstand the load of the wormhole operation, and the overall structure was damaged, which in turn caused an explosion. The explosion this time did not affect Xu Teng's mood. It is normal for scientific experiments to fail if it succeeds directly the first time. It is an abnormal thing. Record the data and prepare for the second experiment. The data has been recorded, and the second experiment is ready. The amount of energy introduced into the model is reduced, and the simulation power of the wormhole operation is reduced. At this time, the technicians in the conference room stared at each other, not knowing what to do with each other. Are we still here? It feels like we don't need us here for the rest. Well, I think so too. And Your Excellency Xu Teng obviously entered another state. They were able to see what Xu Teng was doing through the live screen broadcast. Models are built one by one, and a series of experimental data numbers are marked. The difference from when they did the experiment is, His Excellency Xu Teng's experiment can carry out more than a dozen at the same time. Moreover, the data of each experiment can be perfectly controlled in real time. Yep, the perfect one. I can have as much as I want, and there will be absolutely no error. Looking at the light that kept oozing out from the Guardian, everyone was envious, and there was only one thought in their minds: is this the power of mecha power? It turned out that it was not only used in combat also. This is too strong. Chen Hui, who was standing beside him, checked with confidence, and said cautiously to the people beside him, "Let's go. Don't disturb Lord Xu Teng's experiment. Although he is a scientific researcher, he is still different from us. Others have strengths that should not be underestimated. In addition, it is supervised by flagship artificial intelligence everywhere, so there will be no problems." Turning his head, seeing the tangled expressions on other people's faces, he continued to speak. It is never easy to do scientific research. If everyone hopes that His Excellency Xu Teng can innovate this technology, then he should not bother him. Only in this way, the new technology, the technique, can come out faster. For these fanatical researchers, Chen Hui can easily handle them because he is also a scientific researcher himself. The pain points of this group of people are very good. One sentence: you delay other people's research, which is the best way to advise. Sure enough, this sentence came out. There was no tangled look on the faces of everyone, and they whispered to each other, "Come on, do you still want to learn technology? Dog thief, you actually framed me. Obviously you've always wanted to stay here." "Nonsense. Lord Xu Teng's spaceship needs to be built by us." "Yes, I slipped first. Damn, I shouldn't have reminded you. When Your Excellency Xu Teng asks, I will definitely recommend it myself, saying that my contribution is the greatest." When the moment the door closed, the room fell into a long silence. Only in another world. Xu Teng's words kept ringing. Record all the data and rebuild the model in another way. Clear. During this period, Hero came here several times. The first time I saw the sign displayed on the room was, "Do not disturb." I think that Xu Teng will be able to come out in just a while. After all, the last star iron armor technology was impressive. That wait is an hour. This is the first time in his life that Hero has waited for someone other than the Golden Light Clan, and the next 3 times, the logo of each time he came to the conference room did not change once. Hero deliberately mobilized the surveillance video in the conference room to watch, determine what exactly is wrong with Xu Teng's safety. Hero did not leave until it was completely safe to do so. A day later, Hero left his territory. The flagship and most of the fleet were taken away, leaving only a small part of the fleet for defense, while also leaving those technical personnel that Xu Teng might be able to use in the past. Every time the flagship was launched, these technicians competed to go out, but this time, everyone desperately wanted to stay. Don't ask. Ask is the personal charm of His Excellency Xu Teng for the remaining 2 days. There was no movement in the conference room. If it wasn't for the data from the experiment to be synchronized, they couldn't help rushing in to see if His Excellency Xu Teng was in any danger. In this way, the time came to the 4th day. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.